And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Thank you for being patient with us here this morning as we are here with you inside of these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, letting you know that Great Lakes Honda City comes to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and of course, they're open all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So we appreciate you being here. And thank you so much for being a part of the show where sports meets life. Our team of partners is stacked, and we very proudly welcome Gray's Craze of Clay, New York, for their charcuterie boards of all different sizes for all different events, or just for you to go home and relax with some cheese, crackers, desserts, fruit, and more. Make sure to support our wonderful partners in Central and Upstate New York. We appreciate every single one of them, and it's been an absolute honor, and I'm thankful to God to put together the team that I've had the opportunity to. So thank you to each and every single one of you. With that being said, we are inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for the day. Ma and Pa's is the place for you to go to get your Easter basket ready. You got a few more days. You got to get yourself to Ma and Pa's. Every taste bud will be awoken by the person that you get Ma and Pa's treats for Easter. 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Get out there today and build that basket. Myers Creek bringing you the Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week in just a second. Then Papa Joe and I are going to talk about the start to the Major League Baseball season. We are 1 week in. We'll also talk about NFL free agency and if PJ is going to play quarterback for one of these teams out here. Who are the Jets going to have? And then we'll get into the NCAA Tournament in the journey to the Final Four. The women have all 1 seeds. The men have 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed and a 3 seed. So we'll talk about that. We'll round out the show around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time with Bobby Acosta, who joins me, longtime coach at the high school prep and collegiate level, currently at Tom Bean High School as the offensive coordinator down in the great state of Texas. So plenty of stuff coming up here where sports meets life. Let's get into the high school player of the week, proudly presented by Myers Creek here in Central and Upstate New York. Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, proudly presented by Myers Creek, is Miss Maura Beckwith of Liverpool Girls Lacrosse. They got a win most recently here in a game where they faced off against Frontier 15-6 with 7 goals. She scored almost half the goals for her entire team, and so a shout out and just thankful for all the work that she's done. Appreciate everything that Liverpool Girls Lacrosse is doing. I know they're working very hard. I've been around them for many years. We go to the wonderful Avocolis, which is right down the road from Liverpool High School, and we have the opportunity to do shows with Liverpool Athletics, including Liverpool Girls Lacrosse. So I've gotten to know their student athletes over the years and their families. And Maura, what a tremendous game you had against Frontier. 15-6. 7 goals scored by Maura Beckwith. Big time shout out to her, and she assisted 1, so she was responsible for 8 of the 15 goals scored. Number 15, Miss Beckwith, doing her thing for the Liverpool team that is 2-0 this season, starting off strong with an 11-10 victory at Christian Brothers Academy, and then winning 15-6 at Frontier. They're playing a lot of games on the road to start off the season. They will not be home until April 11th against Central Square. Have 2 more games on the road that are coming up here next week on the 7th and the 9th. So much appreciation to all the work that she's done, as well as the team overall. Miss Beckwith with 7 goals, 1 assisted, accounting for 8 of 15 goals scored in the victory that brings Liverpool to a 2-0 record to start off the season. I've seen the strength of this girls lacrosse team, and it's good to see them starting off strong here in 2026. Shout out to Maura, our Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, proudly presented by Myers Creek, and we suggest that you head over to Myers Creek today on 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia on the countryside, and of course in the city on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, inside of the Syracuse Inner Harbor. With that being said, we're going to welcome in the man of the first hour of this broadcast. He has been with us for many years, and I am the only one that's got him. It doesn't matter wherever else you go, whatever broadcast you watch, nobody else has a Papa Joe. And so I'm happy to be here with PJ as we're going to speak on the first week of baseball, as we have now gone a calendar week of the 2026 season. We'll talk about NFL free agency and the Division I men's and women's basketball tournament brackets, as this 2026 tournament has led us to the Final Four for both men and women. PJ, how we doing?
Very good, Daniel. Very good. You talk so fast sometimes I don't understand how you're saying. You talk so fast.
Well,
you got to slow down for an old man.
Hey. So, well, I'll say this, slowing down. I mean, the season has begun for baseball. It's going to be a long season, 162 games. We are only 1 week in to the baseball season, and we're in a place right now, and we take a look at this baseball season and what's going on in Major League Baseball. We know the Yankees got the first win of the 2026 season over the Giants, a game that they won 7-0 on Netflix. And we know that currently now, as we look at the Major League Baseball season, the Yankees remain atop their division of the American League East. Of course, most teams have played around 6 games, and so they are 5-1. And I want to shout out my Arizona mother-freaking Diamondbacks for being 3-3. They're not great, but they're in second place to the Dodgers, who are 4-2, but they started off the season against the mighty Dodgers. My argument is I think they should play all their series against the Dodgers right now so that they don't have to play them later on in the season as they get better. Get it all out of the way and then have like 150 games to go. So I'm going to pass it over to you, PJ, on whatever you've seen or however you're taking a look at this first week of baseball.
Well, I've enjoyed a lot of it. I've tried to get as many as I can. When I have the MLB package in front of me, the one inclusive station, I have 8 games, so I'm going back and forth, and I just flick on a game and I can get the big picture. But I've been impressed with the Blue Jays so far, because they have a tough division with the Boston and Baltimore and the Red Sox floundering a little bit. But the Blue Jays, I think, have got it this year to challenge the Yankees. I see their pitching with Trey Savage, what we saw last year in the playoffs. Dylan Cease, Tyler Glasnow. They got 3 of the best pitchers in baseball, and I like what they're doing. And just from offhandedly, the first week of the season, apparently they don't miss Bo Bichette as much as I thought they would. Besides, on the other side of that coin, Bo Bichette, I think, is hitting less than 100 under the Mendoza line for the Mets. So, that's no here or there. The Royals I like in the Central, which is fine. Cleveland's playing well. They beat the Dodgers last night.
Yeah.
The Guardians beat up on Yakamoko. They didn't beat him up. They just got, I think, 4 hits and 2 runs. But he only pitched 6 innings. And as usual last year with the Dodgers, their bullpen surrendered the lead. So the White Sox are pitiful, of course, to start it off. In the American League West, the Angels are actually 3-4, and Mike Trout is hitting over 300. Mike Trout, I saw, went yard during one little confrontation with the pitcher, not yesterday, 2 days ago. When you want to challenge a ball and strike, a batter simply has to hit the top of his head on his helmet.
Yeah.
Top of the helmet. So there was a high fastball. Blue called it a strike. Trout stepped out, hit the top of his head. It was a ball.
Yeah.
Had to reverse it. The very next pitch, another ball.
Yeah.
He called it a strike. Trout stepped out, hit his helmet, and overturned that one. and he wound up walking. So you're not going to fool the umpires are not going to fool Mike Trout. That's for sure. I'm so happy to see him. He's patrolling center field. I think if he hits anywhere near what he used to be, he ought to be in the contention for uh, most valuable player. Now the National League, I mentioned the Dodgers. The East Division, the Marlins somehow are 5-1, which is remarkable because they don't have any good players. Yeah. The Braves are sitting second. Our Phillies are running real bad. In the National League Central, my Brewers are 5-1. Little one-game lead over the Cardinals. In the West that you like so much, the Dodgers are 4-2 after losing that game. And I didn't go to sleep till after midnight last night. I had to watch the Dodgers game. So if I'm a little hoarse this morning, it's that. Diamondbacks are sitting second at 3-3, even though they lost the series.
Yeah.
To LA. They got a couple of really, really good young players. I forgot their names already. Not the ones from last year, but these kids were high up in their minor league system, and both started the season on the roster and actually started. So you look for a couple of newbies coming in there like that. Then you got Marte and you got Blake Carroll or Corbin Carroll. Yeah. So Arizona should be pretty well set, but they've got to score. They've got to score a lot. It's kind of a boring time of the year because teams are trying to get their footing. They're trying to work in some players that they want to start. Yeah. And, I noticed there's a kid for Los Angeles. The number 9 hitter is a kid named Freeland, and he hit a couple of home runs in the first week of the season. However, he's being pushed by their minor league player of the year last year that the Dodgers have in their system, and they think they want to move him in. And the odd man out is going to be Freeland. He didn't hit any home runs last night either. So there's a lot of good baseball to come for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, looking at how things have shaped out, we're only 6 games into a very busy season, and so there's going to be plenty more coming up, and statistically, we'll obviously see different things happen, but the Dodgers atop the West, no surprise. The Brewers atop the Central in the NL, no surprise. But the Miami Marlins atop the National League East, surprise. Marlins typically the 5th of the 5 teams in this division. The Braves last year were the 4th of the 5 teams in this division. Around there, they struggled. And then we see Miami is first now, and the Braves are second. So it's been totally tilted, which is kind of interesting to see. I don't know how long this is going to last for, but I do think it's interesting to see Miami 1 in the NL East, above the Phillies, above the Mets. The Mets are in last. Yeah, the Mets are in last place. The Phillies are in second to last place. The Miami Marlins are in first place of the NL East, followed by the Braves with the Nationals in the middle. It's opposite day. Some people might have thought this was an April Fool's prank by, the standings that we're seeing, but Miami is 5-1. In the West of the American League, Houston is 5-2. They're the only team one of a few teams that have played 7 games already. Kansas City leads the Central, and we said the Yankees lead the East. Nobody's undefeated. No one is undefeated this season. There's 3 teams that are 5-1. Milwaukee, Miami, and the New York Yankees. No one has a record without a blemish. The worst teams in baseball right now, folks, are you ready? They're all in the American League. None of them are in the National League. You're 1 in 5 teams. There are 3 of them, and there's 1 in each American League division. The Red Sox are 1 in 5 in the American League East. The White Sox are 1 in 5 in the American League Central, and the Athletics are 1 in 5 in the American League West. So, the 3 worst teams in baseball right now, 2 of them are named after Sox. 1 of them doesn't have a city. They're just the Athletics. PJ, your thought on the White Sox and the Red Sox having, a bad laundry day, and the Athletics still not having a city?
The Athletics will be there at the end. They have 2 very good players last year. Both of the players were in contention for the Rookie of the Year last year. They're sensational young players. If they can put together a little bit of a pitching staff, I think they'll be a 500 ball club. Boston will be there too. Don't worry about them. They'll be fine. They had a good pitching staff. The only one that's not going to be there is going to be the White Sox, which apparently every year they're just going to get worse and worse. They got to do something with their minor league system. They put these guys in charge that are supposed to be general managers. They deal in analytics and all that kind of stuff. Give me an old-fashioned baseball coach who's been around the game for 50 years. He'll tell you who's a ball player and who isn't. You don't have to go through all this analytic junk. But I do have a surprise, and this is a surprise. Who's leading the American League in hitting? It's scary. Giancarlo, I call him Mike Stanton, is hitting 500.
Yeah.
Stanton can't even hit his weight, which is considerable in the last several years. So I don't know how he's doing it, because I think he's a terrible ball player. But you know what? He hits a lot of home runs. He's a big, tall, strong guy. And they seem to think that he's Hall of Fame material. I quote, Hall of Fame material. Give me a break. My goodness. The guy's off. He can't even play a position anymore. You heard me last year when Ortiz, a couple years ago, they give him an MVP and he can't play a position anymore. Hey, if you can play baseball, play a position and hit. Just like I had to stay up not last night, the night before, and watch Ohtani. Ohtani was his brilliant self. 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 6. No one was comfortable with him in the box. The Dodgers are going to live and die by their pitching, for sure. Pitching and defense, as I've told you for years. I'm going to go over to the National League hitters. I think I got this marked somewhere. Well, never mind.
I want to show you. I want to show you this. So there's a Spider-Man cartoon where 3 Spider-Men meet each other and they're all confused. So they point at each other like, "Wait, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man." So they did that with Yoshi, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, as well as Yoshi from Super Mario, and the person who voices Yoshi, Donald Glover, all did this video of Yoshi, and Yoshi pointing to each other as the Spider-Man did it, which you could see beyond
That's
here.
Cool.
So with the new Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out here, we got 3 Yoshis, and Yoshi's one of my favorite characters of any video game ever. So we will take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, I guess we'll be pointing fingers as well of where's that guy going in the NFL, or what's going on with this, or where's everybody at? PJ wants to talk about free agency, wheeling and dealing. I still don't understand why the Jaguars had 3 years to trade or extend Travis Etienne, and they let him go for no money, no picks, no value, just for free. We'll talk about it all right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, your biggest trade asset, and you let him go as a free agent. We'll be back inside the Great Lakes Honda Studios after this.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, and you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location, and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Papa Joe hanging out with us as he always does on a Thursday. It's time to talk about NFL free agency inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and they would love to see you online as well at GreatLakesHondaCity.com, where you can go and tour their inventory of new and used vehicles, and you can buy and lease from Great Lakes Honda City today. PJ, NFL, just had something come across the desk here. Kirk mother-freaking Cousins, who used to be the Minnesota quarterback, then he was an Atlanta quarterback. Now he's going to the hold on, I have something in my throat. I have to clear it out. Pardon me. He's going to the Raiders. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, PJ?
There's a lot of good, strong free agents out there. I think we need to speak about two players that have already been signed, frankly, and they're both running backs. Yeah. One of them, of course, is our kid, Travis Etienne. The Jaguars couldn't have given up on this guy, that's for sure. But it doesn't make sense. Now they got to hustle. They have to have a running back by committee, probably. The other one is the most important one, and I think the rich got richer. Although last year they were pretty poor. The Chiefs pick up Kenneth Walker from the Seattle. What a huge hit that is! It's incredible deal.
Yeah.
What I got in front of me is 15 players that are the most important, not ranking.
Yeah.
All these ESPN, everyone likes to rank things, right? There are some really good ones here, and some you may not have heard of before, but they're good with inside the football. One guy I want to talk about, though, is Joey Bosa. Now, Bosa has been around a little bit, and last he played for the Bills. But Joey Bosa is not the same kind of player he was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's relevant in this particular case because he can still bring it. He's still only 31 years old. He's had some injuries. And I look for Bosa to really sign a good deal with someone maybe for a couple, 3 years to stabilize a defensive line. Certainly, there's going to be some teams out there that need someone like Bosa.
Yeah, like you said, mentioning Bosa, and the fact, with him going to, you got two brothers, right? You have the Bosa brothers, and you have the talent that they bring to the table. And when you look at free agency and kind of what teams are looking for, there's certain guys that you always feel like they're going to be talked about, and that being Joey Bosa being one of them, formerly of the Chargers. And so the question becomes, what are they going to do? What's going to be this case for Joey Bosa? Where is he going to be? Where does he make sense? And being a free agent as of April, right? It's the second day of April, so we are here. And I would imagine that he's not only going to get signed, but that he would get a nice contract, PJ. He's a free agent. He was of the Chargers, then he was with the Buffalo Bills this last season. I don't really know what the mentality is if Buffalo doesn't want to bring him back or if they don't have the money to bring him back, but I would imagine that he's one of the guys that you look at in free agency and try and snatch him up right away. This seems like an easy... You look at guys like Trey Hendrickson, who went from the Bengals to the Ravens. There's certain guys that just stick out to you, and I would imagine that Bosa's going to end up somewhere, but if he's just sitting out there, I wonder if the rich get even richer upon being rich, that being, does Kansas City make a phone call? Right? Are there certain teams out there, does Seattle call him up and say, hey, why not come play with us? You've already been on the West Coast. Why would Joey Bosa sit out here that long? Again, I just feel like he's a name that's probably going to find a home pretty quick.
There's a couple other players I think need to be mentioned. Both of them quarterbacks. Of course, you know about Aaron Rodgers. Played with the Steelers last year and is future Hall of Fame quarterback. Going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm sure. Now, Rodgers liked to play these head games with teams. Oh, he's going to play there. Oh, he's going to play there. Oh, he likes Mike Tomlin. Da, da, da. Mike Tomlin's not going to be there anymore. Now what's going to happen? But they got the same guy who used to play for in Green Bay. Now that's interesting. So I'm thinking that Aaron Rodgers, even though he's going to test some water, I really think that he's going to wind up back with Pittsburgh because of his former coach. I think that's prevalent. The other quarterback certainly is one you mentioned earlier, is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is really arguably on the list of at least 4 teams that are looking for, what do they call it, a little shelving spot to land to maybe help a rookie quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he can start anymore, but he can certainly be a good backup.
Yeah.
And he can be a person that can teach and these young quarterbacks learn. I think that Cousins, of the two, I think Cousins still has a strong arm. He certainly can move better than Rodgers. Rodgers is a million years old, but Rodgers is smart. I mean, he walked up to the line of scrimmage. He knows exactly what the defense has got. He looks at his wide receivers and taps on his butt of his center if he's up close. He knows what he's doing. Cousins, not quite so much, but still, Cousins is a better quarterback at this stage in this game. And Rodgers is certainly valuable to anyone who's trying to teach a young quarterback how to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's being said about Aaron Rodgers and his future. Mike McCarthy, the former head coach, as PJ mentioned, of the Green Bay Packers, who went to the Cowboys and is now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who traded a Mike for a Mike Tomlin for Mike McCarthy. McCarthy said, in speaking about Aaron Rodgers, he is, quote, comfortable with the dialogue that's occurred, end quote. He was with Aaron Rodgers for 13 years in Green Bay. He said he's spoken with the quarterback, quote, weekly, every couple of days, end quote, and added that their conversations have been similar to what they've had over the years. Quote, just like they always are, life, football, what's going on at the facility. So he's really engaged with what's going on. I would just say he's in a very positive space. We'll just continue to engage in conversations, end quote. Now, Rodgers, as far as what's going to happen here, this is continuing to be, a saga, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, was he going to stay with Green Bay? Was he going to leave? What's going on there? He went out publicly when he was in Green Bay and didn't like moves they made. And then it seemed like he became the GM. He brought back Randall Cobb. Then he goes to the Jets. He brings in guys that he used to play with when he was with the Packers. Brings in Alan Lazard. Brings in Devontae Adams. Seems like he had some GM-type control there. Now he's in Pittsburgh. They don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They're going into the draft. Seems like he's got some control there now, too. So Art Rooney II, the Steelers owner, said, quote, when I talked to him and general manager Omar Khan talked to him, he told us he wasn't going to take as long this year as he did last year to make a decision. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I expect something before the draft. All options are on the table, is what he went on to say. So, I mean, PJ, I guess I say it to you like this. If it was you, and you're the Steelers, or the Jets, or the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is very talented. But would you want to deal with this, I don't know who the hell my quarterback is, and it's April?
I think that Rodgers can probably play there again this year if he signs up. I think Mason Rudolph is supposed to have been the heir apparent to Ben Roethlisberger years ago. And he's been given a chance. He's played well. He's a big, tall, strong guy, and I think he learned an awful lot from Rodgers. But
yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be the answer. So to answer your other question is, I think they want Rodgers to be a bridge for whoever they may or may not get in free agent or in the draft. And I think he would want doing that. There's still a chance that he could retire. I don't think so. No. I think he's bound and determined to play again this year. He'll be 43 years old in October. That's well, we saw it with Brady. I mean, these guys are in excellent shape, but come on, when a 24-year-old linebacker is running after you and a 43-year-old guy, you're not going to win that contest. Cousins is a whole different story because he's got a different skill set. I think that both of these players can be relied on to spot start if they have to, or even to start the season. But they're simply going to be bridges for whoever these teams that we just mentioned are going to get in the draft.
Well, I mean, all eyes are going to be on Pittsburgh, too, because the draft is in Pittsburgh. April 23rd to the 25th, the draft will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers draft in the first round, 21 overall. Shout out to my favorite number. They draft in the second round. They draft 3 times in the third round, twice in the fourth round, in the fifth, the sixth, and 3 times in the seventh round. Pittsburgh, the Steelers will have a draft pick in every single one of the 7 rounds and multiple times on day 2 because of their round 3 picks if they don't trade them away, and multiple times, to end out the draft in round 7. So not only are they hosting the NFL draft for all 32 franchises, they're going to be busy on that day. With the quarterback situation for the 2026 NFL draft being nothing that kind of, as PJ says, blows your skirt up, you're put in a situation where you ask yourself, okay, besides Fernando Mendoza, who's probably going to go number 1 overall, who's out there? Do the Steelers go and draft somebody in round 1, 21 overall, or do they do it in round 2? Do they take a Ty Simpson out of Alabama? Do they take a Carson Beck out of Miami? Do they take Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU? Taylor Green out of Arkansas? Drew Aller out of Penn State? Cole Payton's there from North Dakota State as well. Cade Klubnik from Clemson. Luke Altmaier from Illinois. I mean, there's a bunch of names that are out here. Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. PJ, I could see in day 2 where we're seeing round 2 and round 3 of the NFL draft, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers taking a Ty Simpson out of Alabama just to have him in round 2 or 3, especially in round 3. If the quarterbacks fall, they have 3 picks in round 3. I could see Pittsburgh taking a Ty Simpson. I don't know if they're going to take a Carson Beck, but I could see them taking a Ty Simpson.
Most of these quarterbacks are sensational young players. Carson Beck, certainly we saw him play for Georgia. He doesn't have the arm strength that Ty Simpson does. Ty Simpson's not going to last in the second round, Daniel. He's going to be scarfed in the first round. Probably mid-first round is what I'm projecting. To get to some other players, I think that we can talk about. One of them's an interesting guy, Deebo Samuel. Remember, he used to be the wide receiver for San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Something
happened over there where they didn't like each other and whatever, Samuel is kind of a weird guy anyway. Apparently, he outlived his welcome over there. He winds up going to Washington and had a pretty good year. You gotta be real careful when you get a guy like Stephon Briggs or Deebo Samuel because they're kind of head cases. Samuel has an enormous amount of talent.
Yeah.
Whether he can play for whatever quarterback he's going to play for sure. The other one is what's his name? Juwan Jennings, a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Was with the 49ers last year. He's only 29 years old, and he brings a high value here. This guy can carry a team. So I'm looking for Jennings to probably make a score for himself. 3 years, $100 million, something like that. And between Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings, I think those are the 2 wide receivers that are still out there. They're going to be very valuable before they hit the NFL draft.
Yeah. So I mean, looking at who's out here right now and who's available, like you made mention, I mean, this free agency continues to go, it continues to grow, and we're in a place right now where we look at who's available at wide receiver, and there's a bunch of guys out there, like you mentioned, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, they were 2 number 1 guys. Tyreek Hill, he was a number 1 guy. Juwan Jennings became a number 1 guy when injuries happened in San Francisco. DeAndre Hopkins at one point was arguably the best receiver in the NFL and he's out there. Keenan Allen's out there again. Jahan Dotson, who hasn't spent a ton of time in the NFL, he's out there. So it's not like the cupboard is bare when it comes to the wide receiver position. And then when we look at running backs and who's available at running back right now, Joe Mixon, he's out there. Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, who's really talented, but he gets injured a lot, unfortunately. Nick Chubb is out there. I mean, Houston has let go a bunch of their guys. So, because they're looking to change their backfield. We look at Raheem Mostert, Kareem Hunt's out there, Miles Sanders is out there. I mean, there's guys that kind of, outside of like a Joe Mixon, there's guys that have had talent, but they've been injured. Like an Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb and Najee Harris. So it's about, the best ability is availability. And then when it comes to quarterback, Russell Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Cooper Rush, Jimmy Garoppolo, who some people forget about, he's out there. Teddy Bridge, he's out, doing his thing. But there's not a lot of quarterbacks to talk about besides Aaron Rodgers when it comes to the names, right? I mean, it's tough. If you don't trust in your quarterback going into the 2026-27 NFL season, you might be in trouble because there's not a lot of guys that are free agents and there's not a lot of depth in the NFL draft. So unless these guys from the NFL draft can shoot up the board because they did this, that, and the third, or they have good interviews, or they have good workout days and whatnot. I'm not saying that can't happen, and I hope it does. But you look at the NFL draft and you say, okay, if Mendoza's first, does anybody else get picked in the first round at quarterback or in the second round? And then outside, like I said, of Aaron Rodgers, it's not a long list of the guys that you could bring in and try to start. Maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. Even at the tight end position, there's a bunch of talent. David Njoku, Jonnu Smith, Taysom Hill, Zach Ertz, Will Dissly, Darren Waller, Ian Thomas. There's a bunch of guys out here. Mercedes Lewis, former Jaguar, Robert Tonyan Jr. So, I mean, wide receiver, tight end, running back, the cupboard's not bare. But, PJ, if you don't know who your quarterback is, if you don't have your guy outside of Aaron Rodgers and maybe Jimmy G, it doesn't look good for teams that may have to change their quarterback. And so maybe this comes down to teams talking to each other and trying to work out a deal for the second or third string guy that's been in the NFL for a couple of years, because the quarterback position from the draft and free agency doesn't look that enticing to me if I'm a general manager.
Well, you're right. You're right in what you're saying. This is the draft. The draft is going to be interesting. I can see that. But there are a lot of guys that we talk about here are I don't want to use the term recycled, but that's what I want to say. It's recycled. They've been around the league. Some of them are valuable, some of them are not. Whoever lands the deal is good. Not going to be a lot of guaranteed money. We didn't talk about the defensive side of the ball yet, but there's one player that I have followed in his career, and that's Bobby Wagner. Wind up coming to Washington for a quick deal, a quick cup of coffee. Bobby Wagner's 36 years old, but Bobby Wagner can still play the game. Maybe a step slow and get to the outside. Maybe not be able to catch the tight ends coming out of the backfield, but he can still play. He can run stuff. He can cause havoc in the backfield. Bobby Wagner is someone that a new defensive coordinator can pick up and say, "Hey, Bobby, I need you as a coach on the field. Yeah. I know you're a little long in the tooth, buddy, but I need you. I need you to help me with these new linebackers I got coming in there." And someone like Bobby Wagner is extremely valuable, more so than the players that we've already talked about, because Wagner's been there, done that, and he still can play at 36 years old on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's Marshawn Lattimore's out there right now. Trayvon Diggs, L'Jarius Sneed, Hassan Riddick. We mentioned Joey Bosa. Leonard Floyd's still out there. Edge rusher for the Atlanta Falcons most recently. I mean, yeah, see, and what may happen now, Von Miller. I mean, what may happen, PJ, and what would make sense to me is with the draft being at the end of this month, that maybe they let these guys kind of sit out here and they see who they draft, they see who they pick up. I think that there's going to be an influx of free agents signed right after the draft because they're going to be looking at what do I have, what do I not have, what do I need. But some of the guys, it's a head scratcher. I think Joey Bosa is a head scratcher to me. And, you know, there's some other players. But here's the thing. You know, Tyreek Hill, outside looking in, it looks like there's been some moments where he's been a little bit of a distraction. Stephon Diggs, it looks like he's been a little bit of a distraction. Deebo Samuel, it looks like he's been a little bit of a distraction. So are we surprised that they're still free agents? Because the NFL might be like, hey, you know what? Your track record of being a distraction, I don't need it. I'll tell you this about NFL franchises. If you're really talented, they might bring on the fact that they're going to want you even though you're a headache. But if you stay a headache, they let go. Jacksonville let go of Jalen Ramsey. Jacksonville let go of Yannick Ngakoue. Jacksonville let go of Telvin Smith. They let go of the headaches. So, I mean, I guess I'm just in a place right now where I'm not surprised that Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, and Stephon Diggs haven't been picked up by anybody because there seems to be drama that follows them, and
right.
you don't want that in your locker room. I mean, I was looking at the Houston being good, and then they signed Stephon Diggs, and I was like, why the hell would you do that? You got a good locker room. So if you have a good locker room, you don't. There's certain things you just stay away from because you have to protect the sanctity of the locker room, which is very understated in sports. But I've been in enough locker rooms to know if you have talent, but they're a head case, it's going to kill your locker room. It's like putting a virus in there. It's going to spread at some point. So before we get into the NCAA tournament, I do want to hit with this really quick, PJ. This is a message to Aaron Rodgers. Consider it a PSA. Aaron, if you want to play football and you got some more in the tank, I don't think these last couple seasons we've seen the best out of you. I think you can do better. I think you're capable of better. And if the Steelers are waiting for an answer from you, consider yourself blessed because other guys are being left out in free agency. You have Rico Dowdle, who I can't believe Carolina let go. You have Jalen Warren. You have Pat Freiermuth. The Muth is on fire. You have that. You have DK Metcalf. You have talent in Pittsburgh. So if you can play football, Aaron, and you think you got a full season in you, Aaron, and you believe that you can be in the playoffs again, and you want to go out by your means, you got a team waiting for you that has a lot of talent. You're not coming to a team that's rebuilding. You're not coming to a team that's not a playoff caliber team. You're coming to a place where you can go to the playoffs. You can make noise. Baltimore doesn't have John Harbaugh anymore. Okay? Cincinnati doesn't have Trey Hendrickson anymore. Cleveland doesn't know who the hell they are half the time. You got a chance in the AFC North to make the playoffs, Aaron. So if you can play football, then you got a team that's got talent that's waiting for you. So go do it. Give it another shot. Give us one more ride. It's not like you're not talented enough. It's not like you're not good enough. But PJ, if I was a quarterback in the NFL right now and I saw Pittsburgh's roster, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah. Just remember, though, that the NFL means not for long.
I know.
Except for in Rodgers' case, he's been around. He can be the father of some of these kids that are coming in a draft. I'd say Rodgers is very good for as a bridge quarterback. I hate to use that term bridge, but no other term that Moons could do here. If Mason Rudolph isn't the answer, they don't think he's the answer. McCarthy may like him. I don't know. We haven't heard much from McCarthy. He hasn't said much. He's working on Rodgers, I guarantee it. And he'd be more patient with Rodgers because he had him for so long as a player. But remember, Rodgers and Mike Tomlin were very fond of each other for the entire career. Rogers always talked about Mike Tomlin and if he had a chance to play for him. And that little soap opera they did last year, Tomlin knew when the season was over he was going to have him as a quarterback. That's why he never ruffled any feathers about that. So for the rest of you players that are hanging on, not for long is good for you, but for Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, a couple of really good quarterbacks to bridge, quote unquote, the new quarterbacks.
Yeah, we'll see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, but I mean, if I were him and I could do it, I'm looking at this roster and I like it. But Pitt, you're going to have to find somebody for the future. You got Will Howard, and I don't dislike that they brought in Will Howard after he won a championship with Ohio State that I was there for, and I interviewed Will Howard. So, I mean, I don't think that's a bad bet to give him a little shot. I'd like to see a lot of him in preseason. PJ, let's jump into the women's Final Four. It's all number one seeds, no surprises here. We got UConn and South Carolina on one side. We got UCLA and Texas on the other side. With no offense to UCLA or Texas, whoever wins UConn, South Carolina, which I said before the tournament started, I said when these teams go and play each other, if this is what we get, that's going to decide who the champion's going to be. Whoever wins UConn, South Carolina is going to win the title, in my opinion. I think it's going to be UConn this year, but I love Dawn Staley in South Carolina. So I'd love to get your thoughts, P to the Jizzle, J. Edgar Twiz. We got 4 number one seeds, so where are we going? Because in my opinion, UConn, South Carolina, that's the title game, but it's being played in the Final Four.
Well, it's unfortunate that we have to go through the whole tournament and see some really good teams play and some really terrific players. But at the end of the day, it was the 4 number one seeds, and that's the difference between the men and the women. There's so many more players and teams that are good on the men's side, not compared to the women's side. You're right. We could have said this. We did say this months ago. This is since Gino started this season, after winning last season, this was his tournament to lose.
Yeah.
Not his tournament to win. This is his tournament to lose. He should not lose. He probably won't lose. But he's playing a team and a coach who he's, again, befriended. Him and Dawn Staley are respectable to each other. And she's also called Gino on occasion to ask his opinion on things. But last year's team, you saw her South Carolina women, they were like deer with the headlights. They were so amazed at how fast that UConn played. Before halftime, the game was over. And she couldn't right the ship. She didn't have the kind of players that she needs to stay with UConn. Now this year, it's a whole different ball game for her. Yeah. This is not the kind of team that she used to have. This is a team that can get up and down the court quickly, defense properly, rebound when they can, and score for sure. Even though it's probably they're outmanned, Gino specifically at this time of the year only goes with 8 players.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 sometimes.
Yeah.
Last year he had a couple of girls that were out. So let's say he's got 8. He goes, his rotation is 8 players. Now the rest of the kids are hanging on, and they know how to play anyway. I mean, they go to UConn to play ball. So when Dawn saw Gino's team race up and down the court all this year, he says, "Hey, he's not any better than he was last year."
Yeah. And
I got my clock clean last year. Ladies, we're going to do things differently. And damn if she didn't. They got beat a few times. They may be underwhelmed on the glass. They shoot pretty good, but they can get at it on defense. That's what Gino's teams do. They play a full court game. If you score your ass back and get your ass back in defense position and play ball. They got 2 or 3 guards that are they look like Velcro sticking to an offensive player. who's dribbling the ball. I felt sorry for some of the teams that they played in the tournament, especially Syracuse. Oh my goodness! I mean, your coach there should look at the same thing and say, somehow I've got to emulate how Gino plays this game. Do I need better players? Do I need faster players? Do I need taller players? Do I need stronger players? The answer to all those is yes, 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 and yes.
Yeah.
So Dawn Staley, she'll be ready this time. I still think that UConn, they beat them already this year by 20 points, but that's before things shook out.
Yeah.
I think Dawn Staley's got some surprises for Gino.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see what happens here. I hope it's going to be a good game. Yeah, I mean, UConn defeated Syracuse 98-45. Going back to that game, Syracuse was outscored in the first quarter 33-8, the second quarter 32-4, before tying the third quarter 17 apiece and then 16 apiece. Syracuse lost the game by 53 points. Gross. So, PJ, let's go into the men's side really quick here. We got UConn. So of all the teams that are in the men's Final Four, there's only one of them that's had recent success, UConn. UConn, this is Dan Hurley's third Final Four in 4 years. The other two times he made it to the Final Four, the team won the national championship. They play Illinois, who's a 3 seed, UConn's a 2 seed, and on the other side, Arizona and Michigan, who have history. Both of them have success, but they haven't had a lot of recent success. What are your thoughts on UConn, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan?
Illinois is one of the better offensive teams in college basketball this year, frankly, on both sides of the men and women. UConn plays a Bobby Hurley kind of basketball, get after you, rebound, play the glass. They're not near as good as they were last year. I hate to disparage Illinois, but I don't see them being part of this equation here. Yeah. I think UConn wins the game, and they wind up playing a sensational Arizona team. What UConn did to take away Duke was that they punched them in the mouth, just like what Iowa did to Florida. Iowa had no business being in the building against Florida. They punched them in the mouth in the first half, and they couldn't catch up. That's what happened with UConn and Duke. Duke is a fearsome team on the boards and glass. Somehow, UConn battled them in there tough. Blue let them play, and you saw the result. Now, on the other side, it's Arizona and Michigan. Arizona, again, if the referee lets them play, Arizona wins the game. If they don't let them play and they call a lot of fouls, UConn's got a shot to be in a championship game. But other than saying something about the other two games, the other two teams I don't know that much about, Michigan and Illinois, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if Arizona is allowed to play the way they've been taught to play.
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to be too much. And I think UConn's going to be too much. I think it's going to be Michigan and UConn and Dusty May, who used to be in Boca Raton winning in Paradise in Florida Atlantic, now being the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. I think he's got a good shot at winning a national championship very early on in his time at Michigan. PJ, as always, I appreciate the time. Appreciate you being here. Looking forward to watching the women's Final Four and Championship Friday and Sunday, respectively, and the men's Final Four and Championship Saturday and Monday, respectively. By the way, disrespectfully, stop putting the women's championship in the middle of the day on Sunday. The Final Four games are primetime. Why are the women playing for a national title at 3:30 in the afternoon? And it's Easter. And they're on the West Coast, so they're playing at 12:30. There's people going to be in church when the game is on. So right. Please stop disrespecting the women. The men are playing at dang near 9 o'clock at night. The women are playing mid-afternoon during brunch. Stupid. So fix it, ladies and gents. PJ, as always, I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
All right. See you later.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Papa Joe here on the broadcast where sports meets life. We always appreciate Papa Joe being here, hanging out with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. We got Bobby Acosta, who is here with us. He's going to be joining us in just a moment. I met Bobby many, many years ago, over a decade ago, when he was at Syracuse University on the coaching staff and a coaching staff of Scott Schaefer. So I had the opportunity to meet Bobby many years ago. Bobby's had the opportunity to be a part of the collegiate world, the high school world, the prep school world. He's had success, and he's been able to travel around the country doing what he loves and loving what he does. And I have the honor and the privilege to bringing Bobby on now back here to the show. Always a pleasure, always a great opportunity. Bobby Acosta here with me where sports meets life. I love the background that he has here. So that's some good stuff here. So showing some love, showing some family for Mr. Acosta. And we, as I was saying, we have spoken for over a decade. And now he's down in the great state of Texas with Tom Bean High School as the offensive coordinator. Bobby, how are you?
Very good. How about you?
Doing well. So, Bobby, I mean, listen, your road has been vast and wide and all over the place. What have you kind of learned about this? You've been able to make a bunch of different stops at the prep school, high school, college. You've been able to experience so many different things. What has this journey been like?
I think the journey started when I was at Syracuse. I think I met a lot of great people there that I still talk to. I was talking to Missy Schaefer maybe a couple of days ago, Scott Schaefer, George McDonald. We talk almost every day. I'm helping Joe Adam with installing his new offensive philosophy. Tim Lester was on a Zoom call with me not too long ago, doing a coaching clinic. So I think I've learned that relationships could last forever.
Yeah.
And you don't need to talk every single day. When we do talk, it's like we just talked yesterday. And, I've grown a lot from my time at Syracuse. I'm all about impacting people on all my stops. And I think that's why I travel.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you just mentioned Scott Schaefer, and you mentioned obviously Missy, his wife, and Tim Lester, and Joe Adam, and George McDonald, and whatnot. I mean, that family seems to, I talked to a bunch of the members of that family as well. It just seems like and I tell people this all the time, the era of Scott Schaefer and the coaching staff, it's so underappreciated and underrepresented. It included you, DeAndre Smith, Tim Lester, Tim Doust. You talk about George McDonald and, Chuck Bulla. My goodness, Clark Lee, who just won Coach of the Year, the Eddie Robinson Award at Vanderbilt now as their head coach. There's so much to be said. And, obviously, I've talked to Joe Adam probably so much throughout the year. It's commonplace for him and I to talk. So when I look at that staff, I can't tell you how many times, Bobby, I drive by the Dome and I think to myself, that was a staff that has been nothing but successful. And so many people have had great trajectories in the football world and in life since being there under Scott Schaefer. What are your thoughts on it? Because underappreciated, underrepresented, undervalued, I think is fair to say, because I know a lot of you and I've kept in touch with you and I've just seen you all go on and do awesome things, win championships. And I don't know. I feel like Syracuse kind of owes that era a little bit more love.
Yeah, and you watch Clark Lee. He's the head coach of Vanderbilt, and you watch him just flip that program. Mm-hmm. And, I remember sitting in his Bible studies, and I said to myself, he's going to be a great head coach one day. Sitting with George McDonald, and I'm George McDonald's son's godfather, and watching, George down at LSU now, one of the premier jobs in the country. It's pretty neat to see everyone being successful. For me, I chose a different route. I wanted to impact high school kids, younger kids. So when they get to the point that they could go to Syracuse or another school, they have impact day one. So there's a lot of success in that also. But yeah, it makes me sad. And I still remember the day that we had to walk out the door.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that we didn't finish what we started. And I think it's something, and I've told everyone that Syracuse was my dream job because I grew up a big time fan, basketball fan, and I'm from New Jersey. So, but you kind of say it was incomplete, but it wasn't because you see everyone having tons of success right now. You know, so yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like you look at the coaching tree and you say, man, Shafe put together I mean, he found really good people and he continues to connect. I mean, I've connected with Shafe recently, and you know, I took the time to tell him how much I appreciate him. I love Shafe. I still remember, you say you remember walking out the door at Syracuse. I remember the last game, the last press conference. Shafe went up to the podium. He said what he wanted to say, and he didn't accept questions, and he just walked off, and the media was like stunned that he wouldn't answer any questions. I went outside of stadium control, and I saw him, and I hugged him, and then I went to hug him again, and before I could say it, he said in my ear, he said, "I love you."
Yeah.
And I said, "I love you too, Coach." And then right before he got in the car with Missy, I hugged him one more time, and he was getting emotional. I also remember, I think it was the first game that y'all won, I was outside of stadium control, and I see him walking down in his suit, and he's got his like laptop bag over his shoulder. He comes over, I see him, he sees me, we walk toward each other. He grabs me and he hugs me really tight, and he goes, "We did it, Danny!" And I mean, it's just moments like that. And I do, like, I feel spoiled that I got to meet you all, because here we are over a decade later, and I'm still talking with you all. I'm still keeping in touch. You still texting me saying, "Hey, how's your life going? Like, what's going on? Beyond football, are you good? Like, how are you doing?" And I just feel like there's a lot of people that care, that you want to see how they're doing. We reach out to each other, right? A few months go by and one of us goes, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And I feel like that entire staff is just filled with people that care and have good hearts. And I do. I'm so grateful for an era of Syracuse football that I don't feel gets the respect it deserves, but it's always about the people. And I don't know if I've met a better staff full of people where I can honestly say that I can call these people like really true, honest, good friends of many, many years.
I appreciate that. And then, you know, the extension, you're making me upset. good tears. The extension of our kids that we coach. You know what Steve Ishmael meant to me. You know, that young man was incredible. But Sean Evans started a job down in TCU as an academic advisor.
Yeah.
So he's about 20 minutes away from me. I said, "Sean, we have to catch up." But people don't understand the story of Brisley Esteems, Steve Ishmael, Sean Evans. They came from the heart of Florida, where academically it was very tough for them at Syracuse. And within what we did, our academic system, our training camps, our character development, you know, Clark Lee running his Bible studies, you know, Scott Schaefer loving all his players, to where now our guys are giving back. You know, Sean Avant is mentoring young football players at TCU and making impact. You know, Steve Ishmael is a police officer down, I think, in Detroit or up in Detroit and doing big things. You know, Brisley is raising a beautiful family. So we stay in touch, and we lose a couple on our way. You know, hearing about the tragic loss 2 weeks ago, it's difficult because you know that we live life for a purpose, and God puts us here to have impact and to bring people with us, and you know it's so short that time, you know. So I appreciate everything that we've done there.
Yeah, you know, and not to make either one of us cry. But I mean, Rex Culpepper, I mean, he's a friend, and he always will be. And here's the thing about, you never know, like, you think someone's impacted you and you feel like you have that and you have this special relationship, and then you find out that not only did you have this relationship, but they went and impacted so many other people. I work with Mother's Cupboard, and they're one of the partners of Wake Up Call. I have my own sandwich there. I love going there and seeing Pete and Amy and the entire team, and we sit down and we break bread and we laugh and we have fun. Well, I go in there, or I'm sorry, I'm texting Pete, one of the owners of Mother's Cupboard, Pete Green, and he texts me back and he says, Rex Culpepper was really close with us here. Like, we're heartbroken. He used to come here all the time. He used to get breakfast all the time, come in and see us. And he said, I'd like to do something for him. So I come in and he's got his jersey. And he's like, he gave us this jersey. And he wrote on it. And they have like a game-worn jersey, the gray ones that I loved. And Pete Green, he said to me, he goes, hey, can we say a prayer today? Can we pray? And I said, sure. I said, you want to get the jersey? He said, yeah. Went in his car, got Rex's jersey, and we sat down and we prayed. We prayed over the jersey. I had no idea that Rex had gone in there. I had no idea that that was his extended family. They told me that when Rex passed away, his father, with everything going on, called Mother's Cupboard to tell the staff that Rex passed away. I mean, I thought Rex came from a good family. Beyond. I thought Rex made an impact. Beyond. And like I said, not to well us up here on the verge of tears this morning, but Bobby, so many people focus on wins and losses and completions and touchdowns and interceptions. Rex Culpepper, the last thing he did was send me a video for my 21-year broadcast anniversary. He said, a lot of guys are out here doing things differently. That's not you. You've always looked out for the players. You've always looked out for us. The way you do what you do, we appreciate it. The last thing he said is that he looked in the camera and he said, I'll see you soon, brother. And that is probably the hardest thing that I had to look at. But, gosh darn it, Bobby, and I know.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I know, but you,
I know,
but you and I both know, Bobby, like, it ain't about, I mean, we of course, I want to see the people win that I love, and y'all want to win, but it's about who you are. And Rex Culpepper, he touched so many people that his fingerprints on this world are going to last until God calls everybody home. There's not going to be a day where Rex Culpepper isn't going to make an impact.
Yeah. And you see, when he had cancer, how everyone rallied around. And when I heard this, it was devastating. I was in his life with, that long, but the impact he had on us when we recruited him. Eric Dungy's mom reached out to me, and I said, do you mind passing along the parents' information? I reached out right away, and they reached right back. So, but I think, like you just said, as coaches, as educators, it's beyond that. It's loving your players, loving the interactions, and that's the legacy that we have to continue. Because the last time we had our show, we were talking about Fred Reed.
Yeah.
And we think about him every day. I think about him every day. I go through Facebook and you just see, his Facebook is still current. So, and that's why we got to love each other. There's so much drama in this world that people forget that can get taken away from you in a heartbeat. And, for me, at this new place where I am in my life, do great things. It's live a great life. And that's the only reason why I'm down in Tom Bean, Texas. To give my son the opportunity to be Eric Dungy, to be Rex, to be Steve Ishmael, Short Avant, Grizzly Esteem.
Yeah.
And I've raised a lot of rock stars. I've coached a lot of rock stars. And I said to myself, my son is 50 years old. I got to coach my son now to be a rock star. And I was missing that because I was chasing the profession. He's thriving. He's thriving in school. My dad from Jersey the other day. She's a mini version of me. But life is too short. Yeah, life is too short. And I like coming on this show with you. I know I've become a little distant, but I'm doing work that is, that I'm supposed to be doing. And but I really appreciate this.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I appreciate the fact, I mean, listen, so many years ago, when you finished up your time at Syracuse, I was like, how are the kids? And they were so little then. It's like, how are they doing? Because the thing is, like, when you leave a place, whether because you choose to leave or they tell you, hey, like, your time here is whatever, like, so many people forget there's a million things that go into that. Your kids go into that. Their friends, where they go to school, what they're doing, what they're used to. I mean, to be children that have a coach as a mother or a father, I mean, it can feel like a military family, right? You're moving around, you're doing different things, and I was going to ask you, how did Tom Bean happen? But you answered it. You said, hey, I want to be around my son. I'm here for him. I'm here to see him grow. And then you talk about your daughter. I mean, Bobby, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you've spent all these years where your kids are in one place and you're all over the country and you're doing this and you got to do all this work and then you go visit and then you got to do all this work and you go visit. I mean, I feel like that kind of pulls your heart right in two places, because your heart's there with your kids, but your heart's with what you love. And honestly, I commend you, because I would venture to say that it's probably one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing you've ever had to do.
Yeah. And I made a commitment that the next, 5 years is for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm coaching powerlifting. I'm coaching track. My boss is tremendous. My superintendent's tremendous. My head coach is tremendous. That he says, you can go take your son to soccer practice. It wasn't for that flexibility, I think I'll probably get out of coaching. But, I think coaches across the world, you sacrifice your family to raise other people's kids. And I don't think, administrators and schools give the coaches enough credit that, they're pouring into young people to be successful, to win, to have great grades. But at the same time, you're going to have a special wife, or a partner to understand that lifestyle. And you see it, you've watched my life, it breaks up relationships, because of time spent. But I'm so lucky that I still have a great relationship with my son and my daughter.
Yeah, and you said your daughter's your twin. What does she do that makes you believe that? Like, how do you see that mirror?
Well, I think her smile, watching that smile the other day, and we went to Verizon. She got me to buy her a new phone. And her interaction with the salesperson.
Yeah.
I said, holy cow, that is me. Big smiles, great conversation. And I'm a big believer in every conversation you have with a person, that's the most important moment. All right, you don't start a conversation and start texting. You really engage that conversation, because that could be the defining point in that person's life. And watching my daughter interact with this salesperson, I'm like, that's me. So she's very social, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, your son, what does he have from you?
My son has the drive.
Okay.
He wants to be great. And, he goes and walks an hour to a soccer field in where we live because they have nets. And he'll spend another hour there and walk an hour back home. We have a big living room upstairs, and the light fixtures are falling off downstairs because he's doing his soccer skills upstairs. He kicked a hole in the wall not too long ago, but I think he has that passion to be great. But what he has that I don't have, he's a 4.0 student, a very bright young man.
Yeah.
And he made the decision by himself to move down to Texas with me, so he could, be engaged in what we're doing together. And he made a big boy decision. He looked up his own flight. He said, "Daddy, I'm coming down at 15 years old."
Yeah.
And, to take your son away from his mom, I felt bad. I think hearing her cry on the phone really, really did something to me, but it also motivated me. And I said to her, "You've done a great job with him, and I'm going to pick up and try to finish it. So we get him to college and get his dreams to come true."
Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate the candidness of that. Like, you've spent so much time where you're not in the same place, right? And they would be up in Jersey and whatnot. And to have, I mean, you get to see your daughter when you can, but to make sure, I mean, this is a big era and a big moment for you. And as hard as it is when you're co-parenting and it's separate, I mean, Bobby, this is the first time in forever, really, that you've had the opportunity to come home and one of your kids is there. That's got to probably be the most rewarding part of anything. I don't think, I mean, is this like the best chapter of the Bobby Acosta life so far, when you come home and you, I mean, yeah, there might be a hole in the wall, but that's because he's there.
Well, I'll tell you this. The first month, a $300 a week grocery bill. And I was like, wow, he can eat. 6 o'clock in the morning, wake him up, get him ready.
Yeah.
And then going to football practice and then rushing home to take him to soccer. Soccer ends at 9 o'clock and it's an hour ride back. So I'm getting back at 10. And I said, I don't know how single parents do it.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
It is hard. But what I said to my friend the other day, I love every second of this. And I wouldn't trade it. So when I take my son out to dinner, that moment for me, I haven't had that, remember, for like 13 years.
Yeah.
When we go out to dinner, we have this favorite pizza place down here. And the pizza is not like our pizza up there. The pizza in Texas is a little different.
Yes.
But this place is close.
Okay.
And I just watch him and I see him interact with me. And I say, I'm going to cherish every moment because I've missed it a lot. And we're playing catch up. We are playing catch up.
Well, and I think what's so cool is like you said, I mean, essentially time is of the essence, right? So like getting pizza with your son is, other people might not value that, right? Oh, we do it all the time. We do it every Friday, whatever. And I always talk about in life, like, I want you to value me when you're getting to know me. I want you to value me when you've known me for 10 years, 20 years. Like I want to matter when I'm in your presence, when you're on the phone with me, when you're texting me. I want that to matter. And you want those moments that people might overlook, because I don't want to overlook that. If I have the opportunity to sit across the table from an amazing woman, right? And I never had anybody like her, having a sandwich with her is like the greatest thing in the world. Knowing that my mom and my dad are still alive and I can call them up and say, hey, you want to get dinner tonight? That's one of the greatest things in the world. And so for you, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm going, getting pizza with your son, to some people that are in that pizza shop, it's just a normal day, whatever, going through the motions. To you, it's like you won an award, right? Because it's something that you haven't gotten to do. And I hope that you always feel that when you're going to get pizza. Secondly, what Italian moved to Texas that you have good pizza down there?
Well, he's from New Jersey. He was from New Jersey.
There you go.
And we had a whole conversation. He was from Central Jersey, and we hit it off. But you know, and I took my son to the UFL Renegades practice.
Oh, nice.
And watching Rick Newhousel, Noel Mazzoni, Jack Peavy interact with my son.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you know, so you want to surround your families with great people.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as you do that, you start to see your kids, you start to see them grow. And that's what we had at Syracuse. I remember, you know, Scott Schaefer, he had the environment, the culture that your families were always welcome.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Schaefer not too long ago, and I wanted him to do a defensive clinic for me. And he said, not right now, but I would love to see him coach again.
Yeah.
Love to see him coach again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's retired but watching Wolfgang, I watched a video of Wolfgang, and you know, Wolf was with me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, coach's kids always around me. So watching Wolfgang the other day on this Facebook coaching thing, I said, that's Coach Schaefer. You know, the words he said, the way he moved, I said, that's Coach Schaefer.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wolfgang is going to be very successful.
100%. Elsa, I mean, I talked to Schaefer right before Elsa got married, and to one of his former players, I'm like, how you doing, coach? But like, I mean, it's crazy just thinking about this. And yeah, Wolf is awesome. Like if I texted Wolf right now and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like you get a message back like, hey, Dan, it's been a minute. What's going on? Like he's so just like, if he like if you have a relationship with him, he finds the time. And I mean, Shafe sent me a message this past year and we got to reconnect, and he sent me a message and he was like, I'm proud of you, Danny. Like I always knew you were going to be. And it's like coming from him, it just makes you stop. I'm like, if there's anything that I've done in my life that has made you say something positive to me, Scott, like, okay, I don't know if I deserve it, but thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. He's a phenomenal human being. You talking about, you know, just what he's done. And I mean, going back to that, he gave you an opportunity, right? Like you wanted to come to Syracuse, and you've told me repeatedly, like, I love this place. I want to be in this place. The thing, and like being a New Jersey guy and desperately needing that bridge. Why do people love Fran Brown right now? Because he builds the bridge to New Jersey. You know what I mean? So it's like you go back to what you were trying to do and you go back to what people love now. There's always this essence of New York City, the state of New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, taking care of the home area. What does it mean to you to have been on the staff at Syracuse, trying to build that bridge, working to kind of assemble all those pieces, and now all these years later, one of the things they love about the coach they currently have is that he's going to go after that bridge?
Yeah, you know, Fran and I, we grew up together. You know, we're from Jersey. We've known each other forever. So I really love watching what he's doing. Love it. I love the way he interacts with the media. He is, you know, he's going to tell you what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But the bridge to New Jersey is the golden years. You know, when Syracuse had our whole area, it was flooded with kids coming up there. And that's what we got. I think we did it. You know, when Dino took over, he won with those kids. And I feel that I have a part in that. You know, so it's something that I still watch from down in Texas. You know, people still reach out to me, our fans. They still reach out to me. And I think my time there, I had impact. So, you know, there's nothing I regret.
Yeah, you said you grew up around Fran. What can you say about how you saw Fran growing up? Like how you would describe that interaction?
Yeah. Humble beginnings. I don't know if you drive through Camden, and I grew up in the same type of environment, Western New Jersey, where we slept in. It was my brother and me, and my mom had twins at the age of 14. We slept in the same bed because we thought that was normal.
Yeah.
One bedroom. We thought that was normal. So I think he's coming from. You really don't take things for granted. And now when we're coaching a team, you have kids from all over the place, and I think he's a kid magnet, and that's how I am. You really dive into the student athlete's life, and you get more out of that. So when Fran was hired, everyone was like, he's inexperienced, he doesn't have head coaching experience, he wasn't a coordinator, but he's a kid magnet. He's gonna get that young man to play above. He might be a 2-star young man coming in, but he's going to be a 5-star character young man leaving the program. And that's why I see Fran, what he brings to Syracuse. He brings that realness to life, So, and now in the world of NIL and the portal, you need a guy that understands how to maneuver through that. So you have to be a business head football coach. You have to have a business mind, CEO. You have to have the ability to connect with young people. I saw him coaching DB skills the other day, so he's still coaching.
Yeah.
So he's a couple kids away from playing in the national championship, and I put it out there. We got to get Syracuse to the national championship or the playoffs, and that's when it's really take off.
Yeah. Bobby Acosta here with me this morning. Tom Bean High School down in Texas, offensive coordinator, and somebody I've known for over a decade, going back to his days at Syracuse. We lost Bobby here for a second. The internet was being a little rough here, so we'll see if we can bring Bobby back in, because we know he's down in Texas with us here this morning. So hopefully we can bring him back here in just a second. Having a great conversation and truly embodying wake-up call where sports meets life here on the show. So we're going to see if we can bring Bobby back in to the queue here. But we thank you for being inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Go and see them for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And, of course, all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. So make sure you head over that way. We brought you our Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, presented exclusively by Myers Creek a little bit ago, and then went to Maura Beckwith. So shout out to Maura of the Liverpool girls lacrosse team. She had 7 goals herself, 1 assisted, accounting for 8 of the 15 goals scored in their game against Frontier, 15-6 victory that gets Liverpool to a record of 2-0. And then Papa Joe and I spoke about Major League Baseball's first week, the NFL free agency, and the Final Four for men's and women's world, the Final Four of what's been going on here when it comes to the Division I NCAA Tournament. So we're looking to bring Bobby back in here, and hopefully we can get him in here in just a second so we could finish up our conversation. We have Bobby back. So, Bobby, a few things I want to go to. If you saw me, I casually and tried to secretly here reach for my phone to see Dallas-Fort Worth Airport to Tom Bean, because I go down to Dallas area a lot. I do a lot of work with the American Conference, which is, of course, down in Irving. I go to Las Colinas, and I do a lot of work that has to do with AT&T Stadium, the home of the Cowboys, in my connection with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and so on and so forth. So I did a little look here and saw that it's only an hour drive from the airport to Tom Bean. So I think you and I maybe could have a reunion here of some sort sometime soon. Would be nice.
Yeah, and I actually live closer to the airport. Okay. So I'm probably about 35 minutes.
Okay.
And I know the president of, the conference, Tim Panetti.
Yeah.
I know very well. He was my boss at IMG. So we can definitely set something up.
Yeah. No, I was looking at it and I'm like, well, this would be fun to just take a flight that I'm used to taking and coming out and seeing you. And I believe I can go direct from Syracuse right down to Dallas because that's what I did just a little bit ago. So I think it may be time to have some FaceTime and let me try this pizza and make my own thoughts about what's down in Texas now. But a couple things before we hop out of here, Bobby, and we'll play rapid fire and, get to put each other on the hot seat and ask some questions about a little bit of everything. But being at Tom Bean, being the offensive coordinator, what is it doing for you? What does this chapter look like for you? I know you're saying you're dedicating it to your kids. Your son is down there with you. The next 5 years are dedicated to this, making sure, you get your child to a good college. And then obviously with your daughter, she's younger, but, making sure that she has a good future set up. So in all that dedication of this chapter of your life to them and being around your son and being in Texas, what is it about Tom Bean for you personally that you feel is rewarding, that you feel is a great chapter in your life, that you feel challenges you as the offensive coordinator?
I think our kids, our players, our student athletes, my quarterback this year, it felt like similar to JJ McCarthy. High level, high football IQ, 5-star character. It was fun to work with. Our parents were tremendous. Our administration, they give us the flexibility to be great. And I think when you add that, and when I bring my kid around, they all welcome him. So, there's the truth about people being really nice down here. It's real. And sports is very important down here.
Do you like barbecue, and have you found a spot? Because in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Arlington area, I'm still looking for a key spot.
I actually got food poisoning with barbecue.
All right. Well, then I hope it wasn't the same place I went to. But
that's the last time. I don't want to reveal the place. I don't want to get bad information out there. But yeah, that's the last time I had barbecue, to be honest.
Well,
but our cafeteria lady makes great barbecue, Miss Rebecca. Yes.
Yeah. So I will tell you this: the best tostada, and being part Hispanic and embracing that culture in my life, Hurtado, which is in Arlington, which is right by the Rangers Stadium, that place has been the best tostada I've ever got in my entire life. And I credit University of North Texas Director of Athletics Jared Mosley, who brought me there. So I will say Hurtado is like to the point where Scotty Rogers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, he will take he when he knew I was coming down for the college football playoff and coming to the Cotton Bowl, he took a picture of a tostada and he goes, I know where you're going before the game. So I mean, yeah, Texas and Las Colinas, which is right by Irving, like that town that they kind of created, and it's got that old school movie theater, the Alamo and all that. Like there's just something to be said that I keep finding like little nooks and crannies of Texas that I'm falling in love with.
Yeah, it's a very special place. I agree with you.
So let's jump into rapid fire. We can ask any topic, any question. You ask the first, I'll ask the second. We'll go back and forth. And Bobby and I, keep in mind, have known each other for over a decade, so we can have some fun with this. What's your first question for me, Bobby?
Favorite football team in Texas?
Wow. College or pro?
Let's go pro.
Oh, it's without doubt the Dallas Cowboys. So
okay.
I've been Jaguars are my first team, Cowboys are my second, and it's been like that forever. I love the Cowboys. I bought a Troy Aikman jersey. I will not tell you how much money I paid for it, but I bought a jersey from the stadium. I wanted the blue with the white sleeves and the white star, because when I played Madden growing up, I always picked that throwback jersey, and so I got the Aikman. I wanted to get Dion's. I don't think they had my size for Dion, because Dion and I same number 21. So I was like, well, they don't have a Dion one that is the right size. So who am I going to get? And Aikman was the first cowboy anything I ever had in my room. My dad bought me a Troy Aikman poster. So I would, yeah. So I absolutely positively the Cowboys. One of my things I want to do is cover a Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium.
I'm down. Yeah.
That's what I want to do. All right. So, all right. Who are the three greatest Cowboys ever?
I would say who? I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I like the Cowboys because of Tyler Booker.
Okay.
I would say Emmitt Smith. I like Troy Aikman a lot, and Michael Irvin. that's most current, Roger Staubach. Yeah. So
yeah. No, that's good. That's a healthy trio. I will say that the team started to fall apart when the first domino fell, which was Jay Novacek retiring. Moose Johnston was there. Actually, my Syracuse helmet in the back corner that's right below the Q's 21 is signed by Daryl Moose Johnston. So given to me from a Cowboys fan who was like, hey, I got this Syracuse helmet. I know you love Syracuse and the Cowboys. Do you want this Moose helmet? So I got the Moose helmet, which is right there, and he signed it right in the corner. And he's like, before I put it on eBay or anything, do you want it? I'll give you a deal. And my buddy who I went to college with, AJ McInnes, who's also a Cowboy fan, I got this helmet for like next to nothing. And he's like, I know you'll do well with it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it in my studio. What's your next question? What'd you say?
I got a good one for you. I know the answer, but I was just favorite 44.
Got to be the man that's always over my shoulder. Right here. Floyd. Floyd Little. I miss him. I miss our conversations. For some reason, I always go back to a conversation that we had that was never aired. It was, I drove to Destiny, USA. I was in the parking lot, and I talked to him for almost an hour on the phone. Just talked. And for 8 years, him and I would have conversations on the air, off the air, and I'd walk into a press conference. There's a million people that he could be talking to. There's donors, there's former players, and he would turn around and he'd look at me and he'd go, Dan, there he is. And he'd give me a hug. And he always made me feel seen and appreciated and protected and valued. And I don't know, Bobby. I think when it comes to Floyd, in my head, he's always here. So, but I miss him like crazy. I love him. When I started my company, when I started Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, I spoke to my mom, my dad, my grandma on my mom's side, G-Mama, and I spoke to Floyd. Those are the four people I talked to. He was the last person I talked to, and I said, I'm at a crossroads. I was 26. I was like, I got like no money. I don't want to work at this place anymore. I don't know what to do. And I'm standing at the crossroads. And he looked at me and he said, you got an aura. And not everybody's got it. When he would whisper and then talk,
Yeah.
not everybody's got it. He's like, but you got that.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he goes, you got this aura. He said, you're going to be successful. You're going to be all right. I know it. And I don't think he ever knew, now you know, but I don't think he ever knew that, like, I walked out of the room that day and I was like, okay. He was the last person I talked to before I started my company.
Yeah, he was him and Herm Frazier used to take me aside, take me to dinner, and they made me better. They made me into a better young person. And I have his picture that he signs in my office. And but yeah, he had huge impact, and he still continues to have impact.
Yeah.
But I'm at 5% of my battery.
You're good. Yeah. You're good. I just want to say this about Floyd really quick going off of that is that, I'll never forget the poem he loved. I got miles to go before I sleep and promises to keep. So with that being said, Mr. Acosta, thank you for your time. to Bobby, having you here on the show. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for making time for me and connecting with me and being available all hours of the day. You always make time. So I appreciate you. I appreciate our bond, and I appreciate that we talked about all the bigger things today.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I got emotional, but that's our connection. We always do.
Yeah, well,
and I think what we do that's that I like, we keep the legacies alive by talking about these people. Talk about Fred, talk about Floyd, we keep their legacies alive. Talk about Rex, because wearing that orange, you definitely you bleed. When they said bleed orange, you actually do, and I still do. And I know it was 2 years of my life. Yeah. But it was one of the 2 years that I remember every single day.
Yeah. So hey, listen, I think when it comes to, like you said, I read a quote that said you die twice. You die when you pass away, and you die when people stop talking about you. And I read the second one, and I said, well, I'm never going to let that happen. So to Fred, to Floyd, to Rex, to all of our loved ones up in heaven, we will keep you alive forever. And Bobby, I look forward to continuing everything that we're doing, and I'll talk with you soon. And please give my best to your son and your daughter.
Yes, the same here. Be good, okay?
All right, I will. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, I'll give you a call. Okay, talk to you later.
See you.
Bye.
And coming from Bobby Acosta one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Can't thank Bobby enough for coming on the show and just talking about the things, the real things, the good things, the beauty, right? Those of you that know me and have watched and listened to the show, yes, we talk about wins and losses, but that's not what matters the most to me. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care, how many cars you have or how many places you've traveled. What it comes down to is the content of somebody's character. It's who you are. It's who you choose to be, right? You can't choose the family that you're born into. You can't choose the city that you're born into. You can't, growing up, choose the school that you go to, right, for the most part. And, we all come from some place. We all come from some family. But the one thing we can choose is who we decide to be as people. And, talking with Bobby this morning, we're affected and we get emotional about the people that chose to be great, chose to be amazing. And it wasn't even that they chose to be great. They just became great by who they chose to be. And I'm looking at Floyd right now over my shoulder. I'm looking at his book, and I'm looking at the Denver Broncos hat that I love dearly that I can never wear again because he signed it and I have to keep it in pristine shape at all times. We affect people. I had a wonderful person say to me yesterday, words matter. They hold so much weight. They have value. And when she said that to me yesterday, I thought to myself, man, I thought there's times where I think I'm the one that thinks that words really, really matter. And I wonder if other people think that way. And she just looked at me and she said, words, like they matter so much. They have so much value. What you say, it matters. And hearing that come from her just made me stop. And it made me also think about Floyd. First time I ever met Floyd Little. When he said to me and a few other people that were standing around him, he said, your word is the most valuable thing you own. Your word is the most valuable thing you own. He said, if you don't keep your word, you have no value. And I never forgot that. And that's about anything. I'll be there at 2:00. All right. Then be there at 1:50. 155 too. Don't be there at 201. Yeah, that's something that I strive, that I am getting better at, and I need to get better at. Is when you say you're going to be somewhere, you best be there. But I'm the type of person where if I'm going to tell you something, if I'm going to tell you how I feel about you, how I care about you, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to bite my tongue until I mean it. And then when I mean it, I'm going to mean it. And I'm going to mean it forever. I mean, that's how I am. I am the type of person where my words, it matters what I say, it's purposeful what I say, and there's intent. That's why I have to pull myself back, or when I don't know what to say or how to say it, that's where I struggle as a human being. I speak for a living, and you may not think this, but I also struggle with words sometimes. I struggle with getting that point, getting that idea, and in those moments, I feel like God's going, you know yourself well enough to know that you don't speak without purpose. So if you're having trouble talking about something, that's me telling you to pull the reins back and to sit with it for a minute. And then be ready. Because I'm the type of human being that, like, if I step to a podium and I don't feel comfortable saying something, I can't say it. You just heard me pause a few seconds ago. It was because God was saying, no, not yet, no, not yet, no, not yet. Because something inside of me was going, I don't have the words. I'm not ready to say it. And it's not even about like being unprepared, not ready. That's not what I mean. It's that how you say what you say, when you say what you say, when you pause, when you stop, every part of that has meaning. You know, words hold weight. I can't stand that notion, you know, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We all know that none of that's true. In the world of social media, words have constantly hurt people. And it's not even hiding. You know, it's not even hiding. I think what it comes down to in life is, you know, we have choices. We all have choices. And we act like we don't because maybe some people try to control us. But we all have a choice. You have a choice who you love. You have a choice what you want to do. Again, a smart person said to me, there's a difference between I have to and I choose to. Right? Like I have to get up and, you know, if I want to be clean, I got to take a shower. You know, if I own a home and I own it by myself, I have to mow my lawn. Nobody's going to mow, you know what I mean? Or I have to hire somebody. Like there's things you have to do. And then there's things you choose to do. Like you want to be alive, you got to eat. But there's things you choose to do. I choose to spend my time here. I choose to go and have lunch with this person. I choose to go and be at this event or be at this thing. So there's a difference between have to and choose to. And I feel like we live in this world where we think we have to do a lot of things that we don't have to do. You know, I have to deal with this person. No, you don't. Well, it's my boss. Okay. Well, when you talk to them and you have to have a meeting, if it's a mandatory meeting, it's a mandatory meeting. But outside of that, do you have to talk to them? Or you can choose another job, right? If you don't like where you're at. I'm never the person that says you got a terrible boss, I guess you're stuck with them until you die. I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person that's going, oh, you got a best friend that's constantly dramatic, making you second guess yourself. Well, I guess, you know, you chose for them to be your best friend 7 years ago. I guess you're stuck with them. I don't think we're ever stuck with anything. I think we choose what we're going to take and what we're not going to take. Because life is about choices. You know? I've had people talk to me and they're like, I'm in a terrible marriage, but I have to stay here because I have no money and they have all the money. And I'm like, man, I would leave and be poor because I may not have the money, but I'll get it. But I'm never going to get the time back. And that's where I see the value. My value is not in the money. My value is in the time. The longer I stay in this terrible place, the longer I stay in this controlling place, in this negative place, in this place that's not healthy, okay, because I don't have the money, because I don't have the means, because I don't have the resources. Okay, I mean, maybe I got to spend some time getting the resources and working this out and doing this and doing that, but you're never going to get the time back. You're never going to get... I think this is what people forget in life, is they make, we say, well, we can't do this because we need this money, and we can't do this because we need this thing, and we can't... But we value money above health. What are we valuing at the end of the day? Like, I had my wisdom teeth worked on. I think that there's something that needs to be done post-op to give me some comfort and help me feel better and really get me healed, because I don't think I'm 100% healed. Well, the place that I went to, I don't know if I trust those people. And then I met somebody that I trust, but it's going to cost a lot of money. But here's the thing. I don't like that it's going to cost a lot of money, but is the value in my health, or is the value in the money? Some people go, well, I don't got the money, so I'm just going to stay in pain. Where I'm like, okay, how can we figure this out? How can we work this out? Right? If you got the money, you spent it, but how can we do this? Where's the value? Is the value in, I'm going to sit here for a year and feel like this and just deal with dull pain? Or am I going to do something about it? And how am I going to do something about it? What are my options? Get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Talk to somebody who wants to do the same post-op surgery, but maybe it costs a little bit less here. But at the end of the day, am I willing to pay a little bit more for a person that I trust? Or am I going to, pay a lot less for a person that might just screw it up more? You know what I mean? It's like, I think we make so many decisions in life, and it's not about our well-being, and it's not about our health. It's about like, well, how much does it cost? Well, is this an inconvenience? Sometimes the best doctor is an hour and a half away. It sucks, but sometimes that's where they are. Right? When I went to school in Pennsylvania, none of those doctors were great. I got misdiagnosed a bunch of times. It was frustrating, to say the least. So when something was wrong, I came home. And I trusted the doctors in Syracuse, and I just felt like, thank God for my hometown, because we have some really great health care. And at the time, I just felt safer and better. So it was a 2-hour drive to get home, but I can go to the doctor down the street and feel no relief, or I can drive 2 hours and feel better. I'm not the person that's going to say, well, it's far away, so I'm not going to do it. Or, I'm not going to find a way to pay for it if I know that it's the right thing to do. And I know some people might be watching here right now and go, Dan, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the resources. And I pray that you do, and I pray that you will. I also look at, like, if you had 24 hours to live, would any of that matter? If you had 24 hours to live, would money matter? Would things matter? Would where you are matter? Or would you just put yourself around the people that you love and the things you love to do and just do the best that you possibly can with what you got? I mean, we have to be smart. We have to make good decisions. We have to be rational. But you also got to live a little, right? To some people, it's not rational to go buy a Daredevil helmet, because what are you going to use it for? How is it practical? How is it in your everyday life? To me, every time I go to my office and go by where I film Super Powered Pop, I see my Daredevil helmet and I'm like, man, I love that. If for nothing else, if that's the backdrop of all my videos, it looks so cool. To me, it doesn't have to be practical or rational. I just wanted it. Not because I'm a hoarder, not because I want to waste money, but because I love the character. I got to meet Charlie Cox, and I really enjoy... I like the fact that I could bring that to my studio. I like the fact that I can have that element there. Just something that I like, And then I ask myself the question, I put myself on the hot seat, and I go, okay, well, dental work costs more than a Daredevil helmet, but you were willing to spend money on that because you like it. Are you willing to spend money on yourself because, you like yourself, you know, and you want to feel better. And I think life can get complex, but I also think that it's simple in the sense of all you can do is be yourself and you can try. And there are single parents out there or co-parents out there, like Bobby was talking about in his life, where we just try and give. And I'm not saying me personally when I say we, because obviously I don't have a human child. I have Lily, and to me she's my kid. And I've said to God, if this is the only kid I ever get, I don't care if it's a dog, bird, fish, human, whatever. Like Lily to me, she is my child. And I love her like that, and I give her everything I possibly can. And I'm blessed to have her. And I will never undercut that just because she's not a human. But, you know, there are single parents out here. And you got a human kid. And you're co-parenting or you're parenting alone. And hearing Bobby talk about that this morning, having other experiences of people, there's so many people that co-parent now separately or they parent alone. And it's hard. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you do that? I know the type of human I am. And I know that, like, if I have my baby for 3 days and then I don't have him for 4 days, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss him like crazy. You know, I said that. I said, if I had had kids with my ex and we broke up and she got the child half the time, I would have like slept in her driveway. I'd be like, hey, I'm not going to obstruct you. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to say anything to you, but I'm just going to sleep in this hammock I'm going to go sleep in a hammock in the tree and, you know, pick them up on Saturday because I wouldn't want to be not there, you know? So I commend everybody who's doing something. We all have things, right? We're all affected in some way by life, and we have a choice in life to either attack the tough things with positivity or attack the good things with negativity, right? Some people got a lot of great stuff in their life and they just moan and complain. And you're like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you're healthy, you got all this, like, why are you complaining? You got a great life, you know? Like, I would say to somebody who's stressed out, like, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I got such a tough life and I hate this and I hate that. And I'd be like, yeah, but you have kids. And they'd be like, yeah, but I hate my job and I hate this and I hate that. And I'd be like, well, I hope you find a job that you love and I hope you find a place you love and I hope you find the house you love. But you have something I don't have. You have kids. So to me, you have a blessing. Even if your life is stressful and crazy, at least you have that. You know, I think there's things that we're grateful for, or there's things that people aren't grateful for that other people would kill for. You know, one of my closest friends has ALS. He's a brother to me. You know, and I'll moan and complain about stuff in my life that's trivial. But how many times do I look down at my legs and go, I get to walk every day. I'm sure he would love to get up and walk. I'm sure he would love to get out of his chair and walk around and go where he wants to go and do what he wants to do. Things that we don't even think about, right? Push the gas pedal and the brake pedal on our car. He can't do that. You know what I mean? There's things that we do every single day that are such a burden to us and stressful to us, but they're beautiful. If you have a kid that you got to take to baseball practice, God bless the fact that God gave you a kid. That's beautiful. I'd love to take a kid to practice. And yeah, if I did it for 4 or 5 years, maybe you have a moment or two where you kind of forget the blessing of it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. But at the same time, it's like that reminder of like, I have this. I have the opportunity to do this. Like my godson, if Johnny called me up and said, my work schedule changed, is it possible that you could take Noah to soccer practice every Tuesday? I'd be like, yeah, I'll make it work. And maybe for 10 Tuesdays, it's fine. And maybe the 11th Tuesday, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this is just stressful and it's cutting into my schedule. But then that's where I got to stop and take a breath and go, hey, God, I get to do this. I get to be a godfather. I don't have to be a godfather. I was asked to be one. And I took this on and I'm grateful. You know, I feel like I could do such a better job of being grateful. Grateful that, I mean, listen, I wake up every day, and are there things that are annoying of, that are connected to my job that have nothing to do with what I've built or what I do, but there's things I can't control that are annoying, right? A business doesn't pay their bill, screws you over, right? And here you are thinking like, I planned on having that money come in, and they're like, don't care. That's something that I don't like about business. People that lie, that's stuff I don't like about business. Getting my work stolen, that's something I don't like about the journalism world. Having people treat you like absolute dirt for no reason, that's something I don't like about the entertainment and media world. Being a public figure, and that meaning that people can say really nice things or really ridiculous things, I don't like that stuff. But think about all that in a pot and then say, how many people get to do what they love and love what they do every single day? How many people get to wake up, get out of bed, go to their studio and broadcast and literally have control over anything? I control everyone that I want to talk to on the show. Like, there's nobody telling me you got to talk to this person, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, I make my own schedule. I bring in my own guests. I have control over all of this. I get to choose who I talk to and what I do and how I do it. So, you know what I mean? Like, there are things in the past couple weeks that have really been annoying. But there's also things that have been awesome. So, the trade-off. Yeah, dealing with the media sometimes is a pain in the butt. Dealing with sports information directors that are outrageously controlling and disrespectful, pain in the butt. Dealing with a client that doesn't want to pay, pain in the butt. But put all that together and then say, like, those things happen. And if I was in another job, there's going to be other stuff like that. Like, I could go to any job in the world and deal with people that are annoying, that are disrespectful, that steal your work, that don't give you credit, that aren't nice. I think if I was a janitor or a pilot or a broadcaster or a doctor, I'm going to cross paths with annoying people, rude people, disrespectful people. That happens in any walk of life. So if I'm doing what I love, I'm going to deal with negative people no matter what I do in my life. Thank God I get to do what I love. That's the beauty of it. I used to look back on my life and say, man, I wish I had kids. But then I look back at the people I dated and I'm like, why would I want to have kids with those people? Why would I want to be connected to those people for the rest of my life? Those people weren't healthy. It wasn't good. You know what I mean? So it's like you check yourself. You go, well, I really wanted this. And then you feel bad for yourself. And then you go, but let's look at the situation. Was that going to be a good situation? No. And God had a different plan for me. And whatever his plan is, I have to trust it. Because I fought God's plan for years and it brought me stress. And it brought me down and depressed and anxious all the time. So now I'm trying something different. I'm going, all right, God, if you've had the reins the whole time, Jesus, take the wheel and let's go do this thing. Life gets cut short sometimes. And yeah, you meet the person of your dreams and you're like, man, I hope I'm alive for the next 60 years to enjoy it. But what if it was 20? What if it was the next 2 days? What are we willing to do and what are we not going to do? And I think sometimes it's a daily check yourself, and then sometimes you get in a good rhythm and you learn and you don't have to check yourself daily. But I think we all have to kind of look at the fact that whatever battle you thought was impossible to overcome, whatever conversation, whatever relationship, whatever job, whatever anything that you thought was impossible, you're here today, right? Whatever you thought was going to beat you, you won, right? You're still alive. You're still here. You know how many battles I fought in my life that very few people know about? And I thought in those moments, I'm not going to be able to overcome this. I'm not going to be able to get past this. I'm not going to be strong enough to get through this. Do you know how many of those battles? I won every single one of them. But in the moment, I thought, there's no way I'm going to get through this thing. So if you woke up this morning and you got through something and you're getting through something, just know that I'm rooting for you and I'm cheering for you and I'm proud of you. None of us are perfect. Sometimes we're going to say things we don't mean and mean things we don't say. You know, sometimes we're not going to do the right thing or say the right thing. Sometimes we're going to be taken the wrong way. Sometimes we're going to have an attitude and we didn't mean to have an attitude. Like I've done that before with my mom. I'm on the phone with my mom and I just catch an attitude and I pause and I'm like, oh, Mom, I'm sorry I said it that way. I didn't mean to say it that way. Like what I said was totally fine, but the way I came across, I'm like, I could have been a lot better with that. You know, even with Lily, you know, sometimes like, oh, Lily, we're going to watch, you know, I tell my dog, we're going to watch a movie and she gets excited. She wants to get up in the bed and watch a movie with her dad. And then 3 hours go by and I'm working and I feel terrible. You know, I think there's so many times in our lives where we can strive to be better, but instead of beating up on yourself, just kind of take that moment and go, okay, you know what? I can talk better. I can do better. I can be earlier. I can be on time. I can keep my word. If God woke you up today, you got a chance to make everything right to the best of your ability. You have a chance to do great things. And there's a big difference between I have to and I get to, right? If I'm going to Syracuse football practice and I'm like, oh, I got to go to practice and I got to go to practice, eventually that weighs down and you feel negative. If I say I get to go to practice, now all of a sudden it's coming from a place of gratitude. And what do they say? You can't be grateful and anxious at the same time. Like you can't be in a place where, like if you have an attitude of gratitude, it overtakes the negative attitude. So I guess the best thing I can say to you this morning is be grateful, be happy, and do the best you can. And just know that you're not the only one rooting for you right now. I may never meet you. I may never know you. But if you're watching and listening to this and you're struggling with something right now, I pray you succeed. I pray that you see God's love. I pray that He holds you tight. I pray that you know your worth. And I pray that you achieve beyond your wildest dreams. I hope everything you're going through right now is a distant memory soon enough. And you're good. I pray you're good. And I send you love. I really do. I really do. Listen, there's moments where I feel like I can do anything in the world. And there's moments where I feel like I could have been so much better. There's moments where people tell me I did a great job and I don't even feel like I hardly did half of a good job. And there's moments where I thought I really did something and it's total silence, right? You know, I'm like, I really thought I made an impact, and then you don't hear anything. And then you wonder, did I? You know, I think this all kind of goes back to Tuesday's conversation of whose approval do you seek? Because if you seek the approval of others, you're always going to be let down. Because you're never going to get everyone's approval. And sometimes people are going to approve of everything you say, but they're not going to tell you. You know. When you find good things in your life, you hold on. When you find good and rare people, you hold on. And you do the best you can. You do the best you can. Like, I love every business that works with me. I appreciate them all. And you do the best you can. And if there's a day where you feel like you didn't do your best, well, you kick it into high gear the next day. I'm one of those people where it doesn't matter if I do something right for 260 days. If on the 261st day I do it wrong, I'm on my butt. I'm not going to go, well, you're 260 wins and 1 loss. I'm going, 260 should have been 261. And I guess some people might say that's being hard on yourself, where to me, it's about being consistent. To me, it's about showing up. To me, it's about my parents know who their son is every day. They know what I bring to the table. They know my morals. They know my values. My close friends know what they're going to get from me. They know that there's never a bad time to call me. And I'm going to help any way I can. You know, that woman that is by my side, I want her to know that whether it rains or it shines outside, I'm always going to bring light to her life. I'm always going to just do everything in my power to see her smile. Because love in this world, to a friend, to a significant other, to a parent, to a job that you really care about, to a dream and aspiration, love comes with a lot of things. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's funny how whether somebody believes in God or they don't believe in God, I think it's really, really important to read Corinthians. And whether somebody believes in the Bible or not, I don't know many people that would refute love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It's a hard one. Right? Because we're always when it comes to love, we want certain things. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. There's a lot of things in life that there's a lot of things in life that act like they're love. They portray themselves as love. There's a lot of things in life that put on their best acting job and try to look like love. But how many things do you have in your life where you talk about patience? In the world we live in today, how many things are patient? How many people are patient? Right? Are you patient? Are you patient with your kids? Are you patient with your spouse? Are you patient with your girlfriend and your boyfriend? Are you patient with your mom, with your dad? Are you patient with your grandparents? My grandmother taught me a lot. She had dementia. My other grandma had Alzheimer's. One had dementia. My G-mama, there's days where she would ask me 15 times the same question. And most people in life don't like answering a question more than once. It gets frustrating. I told you. You asked me a question, I gave you an answer. Why are you asking me again, right? I get frustrated, you get frustrated. G used to ask me, where do you work again? 10 minutes later, where do you work? 2 minutes later, where do you work? You answer the question, where do you work? She couldn't help it. But it taught me something. It taught me patience. When I got frustrated that I had to answer my grandmother 10 times of the same thing, I thought, would you rather have her alive asking her the same question? Or would you rather have her be dead and you can't even talk to her? And that just changed the way I thought about it. It just completely changed the way I thought about it. I went from being frustrated and annoyed to it just being part of our lives. Sitting at the kitchen table with her, I didn't care how many times I had to tell her what I had for breakfast. I was just happy that she was there to ask. That taught me patience. My dad never really went shopping with my mom. So when my mom had to go try on, she needed a dress for something, she could go try on a bunch of dresses, she would take me. I learned patience. You know, if I go shopping with a woman, you don't hear me complain. I want to eat. I want to do that. I don't do that. My mom taught me patience. Love is kind. How kind are we lately? Do you hear that in your voice? Right? Being kind. It's such an easy word to say, but when you don't do it, man, it can really hurt somebody. Being kind. And there's times where we don't even know we're not being kind until somebody tells us, and then it's like, wow, I didn't even see it that way. But kindness goes a long way. Love does not envy, right? That jealousy. Jealousy is such a dirty thing. I'm not jealous of anybody. I walk into a room full of media people. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you drive. I don't care how many people retweeted and reposted all your stuff. I'm like, good for you, man. Like, let's all eat. I don't have that jealous bone because I don't care. Why would I be unhappy to see somebody be happy? That doesn't make sense to me. It's never made sense to me. Love does not boast, right? The ego. How many people got an ego talk about how great they are? What was I told a long time ago? If you're a great person, you don't have to tell anybody. And I have to check myself on that sometimes. Be like, why? You don't have to tell somebody. Just be you. Love is not proud. Right? That pride before the fall. Pride will ruin everything in your life. Because pride, I'm right all the time. I'm always right. We all know somebody like that. And that person, they push a lot of people away. Love does not dishonor others. It's a big one. Right? Not me versus you. Love is not self-seeking. That hits. That hits. Love is not self-seeking. Well, what do I get? That's probably the biggest one. If I had to be completely honest with you, that's the biggest flaw that I have when it comes to love. It's like, I know what I'm going to give. I'm going to give it all. What am I getting? Self-seeking. That's not what love is. Love is about pouring into, not about what do I get. Love is not easily angered. That's a big one too. These are all big ones. It keeps no record of wrongs. You ever get in an argument with somebody and they talk about what you did? You're talking about what happened today, and they're talking about today, yesterday, 3 days ago, 3 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's not a fight about one thing. It's a fight about everything you've ever done that's pissed them off. Those fights will never end if you keep a record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil. That's pretty self-explanatory. Love does not delight in doing bad things or saying bad things. Love rejoices with the truth. Self-explanatory. Right? Should always tell the truth. Love protects. Right? Even if you disagree, even if you have a tough day, even even if it's somebody's annoying, the ever living, you protect each other, you trust each other, you hope, you persevere, and you don't fail each other, right? The word failure, such a crazy word, because I've almost never used it in my life, but I used it recently, and it just felt so weird coming out of my mouth, because I'm a firm believer that if you try your hardest and you give everything you can, how could you ever fail? How could you ever fail? You know what I mean? If you give everything you can, how could you, like if I was raising a kid and they went up to bat and they struck out every time, right? Went up to bat 5 times in the game, struck out 5 times. Didn't get a hit, struck out, didn't feel like they gave anything to the team. And they're just like looking at the ground, sad. And they said, I failed. They look up at me and they go, I failed. I go, why'd you fail? Well, I didn't get a hit. There's major league players get paid millions of dollars, don't get a hit. Really? Yeah. Aaron Judge shut out in the first game. Never happened in his career before. You think Aaron Judge is good? Yeah, I think he's really good. Okay. Well, he did what you did today. He gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars. He stepped up to the bag, and he did exactly what you did today. Well, does that mean that he sucks and I suck? Nope. Well, what does it mean? It means everybody's got days, man. Did you try? Yeah. I looked at the ball. I eyed up the pitcher. When it came in, I trusted my timing, and I swung. Did you swing as hard as you could? Yep. Spun around a couple times. Okay. So what did you fail at? Well, I didn't help my team win. I didn't do anything. Did you show up? Yep. When you struck out the first time, did you go up the second time? Yep. When you struck out the second time, did you try again the third time? Yep. When you played in the outfield, did you go look for the ball, catch the ball, and throw it in? Yep. Well, you did a lot. What do you mean? You showed up, kid. You tried. You did what you could do. You controlled what you could control. And the only way you're going to get that hit is if you keep stepping up to the base. Every one of us strikes out. Every single one of us strikes out. At some place in life, we strike out. This relationship didn't work. This job, we got fired. We didn't bring enough here. We didn't bring enough there, according to these people. We didn't get an A on that test no matter how hard we studied. We all strike out. But some of us strike out and then we quit. And we take off our helmet and we take off our jersey. We hand it in. We tell the coach we're never coming back. That's a failure. Your failure is when you run from adversity. When you run from a challenge. That is a failure. When you give up and you give in, that is a failure. I've struck out a ton of times. But if you want to play baseball with me today, if I got a kid and I got the opportunity to help raise him and be a good father figure, be a good man in his life or whatever, and he says, hey, will you hit with me? I'm practicing my pitching. Will you swing? Will you go stand here and I practice my pitching and then you can hit the ball back to me and this and that? Yeah. And I step up to that base and I go, man, I've struck out probably the last 80 times I got up to a base. But I care about that person. So here we go. I'm going to get my hit on 81. You never know. There's times where I've been terrible at golf. But when I have an opportunity to play with my dad, I take it. And I got better. Not because I practiced forever. Not because I'm out there every single day. But I literally just go out and there was a time where my dad was going back injury to back injury to back injury, having surgery. And he thought he was never going to be able to golf again. And when I was growing up as a kid, he'd wake me up early in the morning on a weekend and he'd want to go golfing. And it was cold and it was damp and it was gross and then it would get hot and we had to walk because we wouldn't get a cart. And I would complain and complain and complain. Why do I have to come out here? I don't like golf. It's too hot. It's too early. I want to sleep in. And then came a day where my dad thought he was never going to be able to golf again. You know how bad I wanted to golf with my dad? After all those moments and all those complaints and all those times I didn't appreciate fully. The moment that I thought we could never do it again, I wanted to carry my dad on the field. I want her to carry him onto the grass. And then somehow, some way, by the grace of God, his back got better and he started golfing again. And I couldn't wait to get out there with him, and I love doing it. I love doing it. So, I just want you to think about your life today. I want you to think about, could you ever fail your dad who asks you to golf because you're not that good, when all that matters is the quality time? Could you ever fail your girlfriend or your boyfriend when you cook for them if the food doesn't come out right or it's a little bit burnt? You can't fail me. If you make a dinner that doesn't taste that good to you, you did what most women have never done for me. You cooked for me. You took time out of your day to do something for me out of the goodness of your heart. You already won before I even tried the meal. You could put a bunch of mud and rocks on a plate, and I would say, "Did you do that for me?" You know what I mean? Like, and of course, I'm not going to eat rocks and mud, but you know what I'm saying is, like, it doesn't matter what you make. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It matters that you thought of me and that you did something for me out of the goodness of your heart. I'm not a person where I care about what you buy or where you take me. I care that you thought of me enough to buy that and that you took me somewhere and spent time with me. You know, they'd say it's the thought that counts, or that time is a gift you can never get back that you give to people. If you give me your time and energy, I already love it. I already love it. I don't care what I do. It doesn't matter to me. Life is meant to be lived. It's in the Word. We're meant to live, to truly be present and alive. And man, when you read what love is, how many people don't believe in God, don't read the Bible, but they know that love is patient, love is kind? They know that quote. Almost everybody knows that quote. They might not know where it came from, but they know it. They might think it's on a pillow at Kohl's and that it's not even a Bible verse, but it is. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. So, all I ask myself today, and I ask you today, Are you patient? Are you kind? Are you envious? Are you boastful? Are you proud? Like, do you have pride? Do you dishonor? Are you self-seeking? Do you hope? Do you protect? Do you trust? Do you persevere? Do you tell the truth? Do you keep a record of whatever somebody's done to you and constantly remind them when they fail? We need to start appreciating the gifts that we have. We need to start appreciating the blessings in our lives. And not appreciate it and then fall into the rut, right? Somebody has a child and they're sitting there in the hospital bed and they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. This is the greatest blessing. And then you fast forward 7 years and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the most annoying kid in the whole wide world. I don't even know why I had this kid. Because somewhere in between, you forgot how much you appreciate the moment and you appreciate what you have and you value it. We're all going to get on each other's nerves. We're all going to have off days. We're all going to be a pain in the butt sometimes, but who do you want to do life with? Right? There are people that I tried to have like a friendship with and it didn't work, but something inside of me was like, try again. Something inside of me was like, they didn't understand what you said, how you said it. There was a miscommunication there. And some people would walk away forever and be like, oh, screw it. It was a miscommunication, but I'm not going to sit here. Where I was like, no, I'm going to try. And then you're like, man, if I didn't go back and try and think maybe that person just had a bad day, maybe I caught them at a bad moment. If I thought, no, they hate my guts, no, they don't like me, whatever, screw them. If I had thought that, then here I don't have this friend for the last 10 years. Here I don't have this relationship. I had somebody react to me one day when I had an emergency. I had something going on with my family and I was supposed to do an interview and I had no choice. Like something happened with my dog. I had to go help her. It was an emergency. It was an issue. And I had to cancel the interview. And the person didn't respond to me. And for months and months, I tried to reach out to them. I tried to get in touch with them. And they didn't ask about my dog. They didn't ask if I was okay. They didn't acknowledge anything. They didn't respond to any messages, nothing. And I was like, well, that person's kind of a jerk. Like, why would, you know what I mean? It's like, I had an emergency. Why can't you understand? Why can't you answer my call? And then all these months went by. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this one more shot. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I didn't do anything to them. And maybe they don't think, that not answering my call was important. I have no idea. Maybe there was something going on in their lives. I don't know. I'm just going to give them another chance. And now that person's one of my good friends. So I could have gone to that moment and been like, my dog had an emergency and you didn't even have the decency to understand that and then never speak to them again. But I was like, whatever happened that day, it's a new day. Let me give it a shot. And that person and I are close now. So we have moments. We have rough moments. Sometimes we have the best first impression. Sometimes we have a rough one. Sometimes our second and third impression is tough. Sometimes we know how to do this, but we don't know how to do that. Sometimes we get in our own head. Sometimes life gets hard. Sometimes we don't know what to say or what to do. Sometimes we speak about things and we don't even think it through. We just talk. There has been so many times in my life where I'm like, man, I should have just not said those words, not done that, taken a deep breath, gone for a walk, thought about something, played a song that I like, just reset myself. There's a million things that I probably could have done better. Probably a billion. And I thank all the people that stuck by me when I just wasn't at my best. Because I ask myself every single day to be at my best. I want to be on 10 all the time. If 10 is the best I can be, I want to be 12. That's how I've always been. So when I'm 9, it ain't good enough for me. When I'm 7, it ain't good enough. If I'm 2, whew, I'm like, why'd you even get out of bed today? So, I think we just have to be grateful for the blessings we have and grateful for the people that stick around even when we are nowhere near what we think we should be or what we try to attain in life. And for all the people I've let down and all the moments where I could have been better, it's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because if you knew my heart and my mind and what goes through them, you would know that I absolutely positively only want to give people happiness and smiles and laughs and cheer and goodness. Man, I've only ever wanted to help this world. You want to be enough, right? And I think the world we live in today, it's easy to feel like we're not because, like, Jesus Christ himself is questioned. People feel comfortable just hating everything and everyone all the time. And it gets suffocating sometimes how people talk to each other. But whatever this world is, like, I got to be me. And if I'm going to fail according to somebody else, let it be me doing everything I possibly can. Let it be me being me. I think a lot of times we forget that when we achieve something, then we go, well, how do we keep achieving it? How do we keep doing it? Right? You go to a game and you have like a 15-point game and you're like, man, I want to score 15 points every night. How do I keep doing it? How do I get to 20? How do I do it? How do I do it? And it's like, you got to 15 by shutting your brain off and trusting yourself and just playing. I can't tell you how many times when I went on the floor and I trusted in my game and I trusted in my ability and the moment wasn't too big for me and I was like, man, I'm going to go out here and do everything I possibly can. When I wasn't thinking about, are my coaches going to take me out? Are they going to keep me in? Are my parents proud of me? Am I a good player? Does this person like me? Does my jersey look okay? Da, 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 da. I failed. Not fail, but I didn't play well. There's one game that I went to, my coach put me in. I went out there, I hit a 3. I went out, I came down the floor, hit a 3 from almost exactly the same place. Then I thought to myself, man, you got to make every shot you take because coach almost never puts you in. And you got to make every shot. The first shot you miss, he's going to take you out. You have to make it. You have to make it. You have to make the shot. You guys want to win the game. You got to make it. You were down by 10. Now you're only down by this. You got to make the shot. You got it. I let that 3 go. As soon as it left my hand, I went, it's going wide right. Because I thought about it. I overthought the shot. I didn't trust myself. I didn't do the thing that got me where it got me. You can plan for your life. You can think things through. But ultimately, the only way you will ever succeed in life is when you have faith, you trust yourself, and you just go do it. I was not logical and rational when I started my business because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to leave traditional radio, go to the internet, try to figure out how to do it. I didn't have a lot of money. Rational, logical people would have told me I was insane. Rational, logical people told people that the earth was not round. Rational, logical people told Thomas Edison that you can't create light. It only comes from the sun. Rational and logical people said that we would never connect this world. Rational, logical people said you cannot make people fly. You're not going to be able to put them in anything in the sky and get them from one place to another. Logical, rational people did not believe in airplanes. They thought you're either going to drive or you're not going to go. So many things in life that have brought us to where we are today started with somebody appearing to be insane, crazy, and have no idea. the best things in life come from having the biggest amount of faith and belief and hope and trust. Those are the only times that things ever come through. Amen. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll wrap things up in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this. Stay with us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, what is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K9 Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K9 Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K9 Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K9 Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have the place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Listen, we all have a kid spirit, right? And sometimes as you get older, you lose it. You forget about it. You don't give that to yourself anymore. I think the best adults are the ones that never forget what it's like to be a kid, to just have fun with the simple things. And collecting cards, man, it's such a simple way to bring people together, such a fun way to do it. You can go after the teams and the players that you love. You can go after the games and the characters that you love. From Pokemon to Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, soccer, hockey, basketball, baseball, football. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks. That's why you got to get in there Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, right off of Teal Ave. It's a great place to go and have fun, to go and be a big kid, and to go just celebrate life and the simple things, the things that just make us smile. Go to GG Cards and Breaks today and experience the difference. We look forward to seeing you there. Big time shout out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Nostalgia is going on right now. You like the original, you like the spicy, or you like the grilled. Now you can get the Jalapeno Ranch Club Chicken Sandwich, which brings jalapeno and ranch to the original, to the spicy, and to the grilled. You can also get the strawberry hibiscus beverages that are happening at Chick-fil-A, and you can get those frosted beverages that are now available, where you can have a Coke Zero or a frosted Coke Zero. I've tried it. They're fantastic. Go out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt today. You can't miss it. It's a double drive-through, giant brick building, big old parking lot waiting for you on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. We look forward to seeing you over there today. Big time shout out to everyone that's been with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, but it's 12:19 right now. So under promise, over deliver. We promise you 2 hours. You've had 3 with us today. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Find us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora by going to any one of these outlets and searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Once you find us, bookmark, subscribe, follow, download. It's all free. Make sure you do it today. And also make sure to support our wonderful partners in Central and Upstate New York. We appreciate them so very much. Our absolute, positively wonderful team of Great Lakes, Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Mon, Paz, Brian's Landing, Pizza Man, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Myers Creek, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Willow Rock, Mother's Cupboard, Gray's Craze in Clay, New York. Of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. Find the Bearcats every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni, including Nick Billings, who's a Hall of Famer with the team, 7-footer from Alaska, who played in the early 21st century, 2001 to 2005, and the big man was second in the country only to Emeka Okafor of UConn when it came to blocks in Division I men's basketball. He aided and guided Binghamton from Division II to Division I in NCAA play, and he went up against Syracuse, Jerry McNamara, Carmelo Anthony, and the crew. They went on to win a national championship. He went up against that team and had Jim Boeheim give him a compliment during the game and wanting somebody to stop him when he had back-to-back dunks in the Dome. Find all of our Binghamton coverage by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. And we got to give a big time shout out once again to a newest member of our family, Gray's Craze of Clay, New York. Charcuterie boards and boxes. Gray's Craze is unlike any other place that I've ever had the opportunity and the blessing to work with. They are there for you individually. They're there for date night. They're there for you and the kids, and as well as anniversaries, weddings, big old parties that you got going on, team events, and of course, holidays like Easter and, of course, March Madness and everything that is going on. There's never a bad time to celebrate in life. And Gray's Craze wants you to celebrate everything. Call them at 315-409-4171 to place your order over the phone for Easter or whatever you got going on. That's 315-409-4171. Or you can go to Gray's Craze online. Go to Gray's Craze Clay, New York. You'll find them and you can order online. And you can, of course, go to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and you can click on their logo and order straight off of our website for your charcuterie boxes and boards. We look forward to you going over to Gray's Craze today. I thank Christine, Colleen, Noah, and the team for believing in our mission and our vision here at Wake Up Call and for making sure that you're made to order fresh daily from their kitchen to you, from their family to yours. You truly feel what it's like to sit around a table and appreciate each other's company. Once again, that's what Gray's Craze is all about here in Clay, New York, and we appreciate them so very much. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thank you for being with us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. Shout out to Myers Creek for the Central and Upstate New York High School Player of the Week, and shout out to our Player of the Week, Maura Beckwith of Liverpool Girls Lacrosse. Big time shout out to Papa Joe, as always. Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the NCAA Tournament, women's and men's Final Four happening this week. Women Final Four on Friday, men on Saturday, women's title on Sunday, men's title on Monday, which is Easter Sunday and Easter Monday for this year. And of course, big time shout out to Bobby Acosta for being a part of the show and talking about the bigger things in life and for our friendship. God bless you all. Please live your life with as little stress as you possibly can, because all it does is hurt you. And just always do your best, and know that doing your best will always and forever be good enough for the people that truly love and care about you. Okay? You can't fail the ones that love you. I'll talk with you soon.